name is Bryant, and welcome to I Have Comic Issues, and this is Comic Channel Origins. And today I am going to be interviewing Rich from Philobox Comics, and he's the only man I've ever seen on YouTube that's been able to palm a comic book. So let me bring him in, and here is Rich.
Hey, everybody.
Rich, how you doing? See, I told you, he can palm a comic book. How are you doing today, sir?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me on. It's a great day as a New York Giants fan to see them win again, and they've now gone from the first overall pick to second to like fifth. So my sports world's doing great. Got some great comics today, so all is good. And it's freaking cold out in New England. It couldn't be happier.
Well, it's a lot warmer here in Florida. I'll let you know that. Maybe we'll send some sunny weather your way by like April.
Okay. Sure. A little earlier would be better, but
with our postal system, it might take that long to get there.
That's true. I will say I've had good luck so far. I'm going to knock on wood. Buying comics online. If those of you that know me, I'm buying a lot of stuff on Whatnot, and everything so far has gotten here on time.
Okay. Hopefully tonight I can win a Whatnot auction for the last comic book that I need for my Uncanny X-Men run from 94 to 544.
Which issue do you need?
I need one issue, and that is issue number 110.
110.
It's not even a special book. It's just it's the first issue that Phoenix joins the X-Men officially.
Mm-hmm.
But it's the one that I need to complete that run of basically the new X-Men.
Yes, actually, yeah, you're right. 94. That's a nice run. I need a lot of books out of that. I still need 94. I still need part one of Days of Future Past, which I think is 141, and I'm missing a bunch throughout. I might have 110. I don't know. I can't reach my comic list. I don't think I do.
Yeah, I got 94 this year. I got a signed 5.0 Chris Claremont this past year, so I was happy with that one.
Absolutely, should be. I'll get one eventually.
Well, I mean, are you going to get one of those, or are you going to get an X-Men 1, just like trade your AF-15 for an X-Men 1?
So, not looking to trade any of my grails. So, people have been asking, what's the next big book you want to get? And it's down to 4. X-Men 1, the original series, which thankfully has come down a lot the last few years. Journey to Mystery 83, which has also come down a lot. That's the first appearance of Thor. Tales of Suspense 39, the first appearance of Iron Man. Or Avengers #1. Being a Hulk guy, I feel like I should have Avengers #1. All those books, I believe, have come down quite a bit, especially since the boom. So I'd be looking kind of in that grade you just mentioned, kind of like a 5.0. I can't afford a 9.2 or better. I don't want to get a beat up like 1.0, but something like 4.5, 5.0. That's where I'm at right now. Just got to find the right book for the right price and right.
Yeah, price. I mean, you might have to think about it this way: if you either need to jump on probably X-Men now, before the movie is ever announced, or you'll have to wait until well past the movie has come out. Because the other ones, Iron Man's already come out, Thor's already been out, and Hulk's already come out.
Yep.
Or the Avengers have already come out. So they've all had their boom.
Mm-hmm.
And they're probably going to have a little bit more bumps when Doomsday and Secret Wars come out, but they've all had their big movie release. And X-Men and Marvel hasn't had it yet in Marvel.
One thing, if anybody that, I don't do speculating, but anybody that follows pricing of comics is you will see books generally from the speculation market. They will jump with the announcement of a movie until the movie hits. Then once the movie's been released and seen, they usually level off to maybe even where they were before the hype.
Yeah. Area 51 is here. Welcome in. Right book at the right price at the right time. Yep. All right. Well, Rich, let's get into it. Let's start. First question I got for you. What inspired you to start your comic book YouTube channel, and what was your very first video? And seeing as how you're a new comic book YouTuber, it shouldn't be that hard to remember.
No, it was back in August. And the reason I started, Bryant, was I had been looking for a second channel for a few years. My main channel, which we'll talk a little about tonight when we're talking about the YouTubes, is TSR Sports. And I've been trying to get a second channel. I was like, I like the sports thing, but I have a lot of hobbies. Comic books, I'm a musician, Magic the Gathering. And and I always had the desire to have a second channel to have an outlet for those hobbies. And in 2024, this is a little embarrassing, but I started a second channel called I Like Crap by Corey Feldman's song The Joke, which in and of itself is a joke. I think it's actually catchy, but he is kind of ripping off the Bad Boys theme a little bit if you really listen to it.
Right.
Watching that video, I was like, you know what? I kind of like stuff that's crappy, so I'll make that second channel. As time passed into last year, I started putting up content from prior channels that I've tried out, channels that I started back as early as 2006. Yes, I've been on YouTube since 2006. I don't know what I was doing, so I just put kind of everything there. Then the channel turned into I Make Crap. And
Okay.
putting up this crap I used to make, I started making comic book videos. Just because I was enjoying the hobby, enjoying the search. Lunch Money Comics was a big influence, and I enjoyed seeing him go through books. And I was like, why don't I do that too? So I started making a video. I was like, you know what? I'm not digging this I Like Crap thing anymore because it's all over the place. It's old content that didn't catch on. It's new content I'm enjoying. What if I just start over? So I did. Start up Philobox Comics in August of last year. I want to say it was like August 19th-ish. And the first video was the Red Room sale at That's Entertainment in Worcester, Massachusetts. And this was a crazy sale, Bryant. What it was all their back stock or overstock, if you will. And it was fill one long box for $35 or two short boxes for $35. So I go there with two short boxes and I'm thinking, all right, this is going to be 90s Valiant, 90s Image. I'm going to see 8 million copies of X-Force 1.
Right.
This type of deal, it's not going to be, it's going to kind of suck. Didn't suck. There was a lot of Bronze Age. There was actually quite a few lower grade Silver Age. I think one of the biggest books I found is somebody grabbed the Tales to Astonish 90, the first appearance of Abomination. So it was actually a lot of decent stuff. It was probably the best sale I've ever been to. The only problem is they had us in quite a small room, and there was probably 40 or 50 of us in there. So they were way over the fire chief came in, they would have shut the whole thing down.
Okay.
But that was the first video, and I kind of thought that was the first perfect video because the name of the channel was Philobox Comics. I literally just filled 2 boxes, and I got a nice little bump from Mike at Lunch Money Comics because I was in that video a lot with him, and a lot of his subscribers, he's in New England, I'm in New England, found out my channel through that. So that was a nice little start, and appreciate what he did, and been off and running since.
Yeah, I know I've seen. I can't recall if I saw yours or his, but I know I saw y'all in a very small room with a lot of people, and y'all were talking to each other.
Yep.
So it could have been either one of your videos, but
probably Mike's. I was just starting out, so his video got, I'm sure, a ton more views, but it was fun, and it was even though it was crowded and uncomfortable, it was also a bit of a team effort. Whereas if you were looking through books, and I found like a run of Batman Year One, and I grabbed the whole run for myself and a dupe of #1. I grabbed a newsstand and a direct, but I also had a ton of other copies, which I could have just thrown in my box. But then I saw people looking over my shoulder, and Mike was there. He's like, "Were you taking all those?" I'm like, "No, here, you have a run. You get a run, and you get a run." I was like, I don't need all this just for me. So it was a lot of fun. People were sharing books with me too.
That's cool.
Yeah.
And they haven't had another sale since then?
They said they're not going to do it again. They did have one pre-COVID. Apparently, they used to do it a few times pre-COVID. Then they stopped. Then they had one last year, and it sounded like, in speaking with them, it's not going to happen again, which sucks because it was a lot of fun. I would definitely go back. Just hopefully they have like 10 less people in the room.
Yeah, I mean, they probably have to collect years worth of collections to probably make that worthwhile to clear the space.
They're a really huge store in Worcester. They have a zillion comics. What was actually cool about the sale, which I forgot to mention, is first there's the negative. Nothing was boarded. It was all bagged.
Okay.
Here's the positive. When it's all bagged, you can fit a lot more comics in that box when it's just the comic in the bag.
Okay. You just got to be a lot more careful too.
Yes, and that's one thing I caught a couple times in my own footage is when I was pushing books back in that I didn't want, a lot of times they would bend. And you try not to do that, but there's nothing there to support them. You're like, oh, sorry, this went from an 8 to a 7. Sorry.
Yeah,
press it out.
Then you could do show that video and then do the next video on how to press and clean your boards or your bags. Or
don't have a press though.
Okay, you haven't started that aspect of the hobby yet?
Time's an issue between the two
Oh,
YouTube channels, having a girlfriend, having a job. A million hobbies. I wish I had the time to press books because I look at so many books that I'm putting in an online database to track the books and their value. And I'm looking at it, I'm like, 2 spine ticks, non-color breaking. All right, well, I could either get this out with a press, but I don't have the time at the moment.
right.
Maybe in the future, when I'm retired, I can be one of those folks that buys a book and it's like, oh, it's a 6, but it's got creases in it. I could take those all out, and now I've just paid the cost of a 6 book, and it's actually a 9. That type of deal.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's future investments.
Future investments.
So your first video was the Red Room video?
Red Room, yeah, That's Entertainment's Red Room sale.
Okay. I'll have to go back and check that out.
It's very first video. It's done pretty well by that channel standards, because it's small channel. It's newer, but I think it might have like 3,000 views. So I thought it did pretty well, and really helped my watch time, because I found that watch time is something a lot of people talk about. How do you get your watch time up? The videos where I'm digging through comics, the average watch time is usually 15 to 20 minutes. So even if you only have 1,000 or 2,000 views, that adds up fast.
Yeah. So, I mean, real quick, have you hit the first monetization thing where the 500 subscribers, which I know you have that because you're over.
You need 1,000.
What?
You need 500 for memberships. You need 1,000 for actual monetization. So yeah, I've hit 500.
Okay, and have you hit the 3,000? I'm guessing you've got the 3,000 hours watched. If
I'm actually going to give you the exact number since you're asking.
Okay.
8,500.
Well, okay.
So yes, I've met every goal there. But getting to the 1,000 subscribers, I actually thought getting to 1,000 subscribers would be easier than getting the watch time. But the watch time came in the first 2 months, and the subscribers, I'm still trying to get there.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. See, like I've my watch or my subscriber count has gone up quite a bit over the last like 6 months. I've gotten like 100 plus subscribers, which is very good. But my watch time is still way down. I'm about halfway to the 3,000.
Okay, you'll get there. Just keep doing what you're doing and have fun. That's all I can say. Do what you're doing and have fun.
Trying to fit my videos into my work schedule. Doing the live stream is the best way for me to actually create content on top of everything. Hey, Izzy, how are you doing? Izzy was the guest last weekend.
I watched it.
Yeah.
I've watched. I really like. This is probably my favorite content that you do, is when you're talking to folks about their channel. I always watch every one of these. I might not be able to watch them live because it's Sunday night at 7 o'clock, and I might actually be live on my other channel at the time.
Right.
If I'm not able to watch it live, I got you on Monday morning. I'm at work, but I can listen to you. I'm like, I got it on.
Yeah, and the other, I also have like alternated a couple times where I'm talking to some resellers too, and doing a comics to cash version, seeing what it's like to be an online reseller. I don't know if you've watched either of those.
Was it Bronzeville Comics you just had on?
Yeah, Bronzeville was, and then Ron's Comic Closet, who is he's my channel sponsor, and he's like he's a local guy to me, but he owns an online comic book shop.
I thought the Bronzeville one was really educational for me because I just got into Whatnot a couple months ago. Right. And I generally see books go for lower than eBay or Heritage, so I didn't understand why sell on Whatnot. And hearing Bronzeville talk about how much easier it is, how you get paid right away, it seemed like the positives outweighed any type of negatives.
On the Whatnot, if you got to hit it's just like with YouTube, you got to hit certain benchmarks, and with Whatnot, you got to hit 1,000 items sold, and then you can get the instant payouts.
Oh, you have to wait if you don't have 1,000? Oh,
yes, you have to sell 1,000 items. So when you see those people that are selling those dollar start shows, I mean, they're lower books, but they're doing $1 and they're just churning them out, it's because they're trying to get to that 1,000 items sold.
I just learned something tonight. That makes sense. Like, hey, there's the goal: churn and burn books. We got a bunch of $5 and $10 books. Blow them out for $1. hit the goal, and then go big from that.
Oh yeah, I hit my this past year. I hit my well, my wife hit my 1,000 items sold because I set up a whole bunch of dollar bin books for her, set up my channel, and said I gotta go to work. Here you go.
She ran the show.
Yeah, she ran
That's
the show
awesome.
for me and everything. And I mean, she'll tell you, I don't know what I'm talking about. But I mean, she was literally just putting them there so they could see it and just selling. And she sold in 3 days, sold about 400 comic books because I was that many books shy of hitting the 1,000. So she got me there. I just haven't had time to do anything more with it. But
that's incredible.
I
Miss
hit that
Philbox,
threshold.
if you're watching in the future, if I ever sell and whatnot,
yeah, because it's handy. I do use the whatnot marketplace instead of eBay.
Yep.
I'll put books on the marketplace there because the commission rate's a lot better, in my opinion.
yes, I hear whatnot takes like 10%. eBay's now 18, or it's a big difference.
Yeah, well, it's 8% commission on the sales price, and then the 3.9% plus 2.9% plus 30 cents for the processing fee.
Okay.
Which equals out to about 10 to 12%.
And eBay's much more than that, I'm sure.
Yeah. But I mean, the only bad thing about selling the dollar books is if you're ES area, I will agree she is awesome. She is very awesome. And I was talking to Rich about this before we went online. My highest selling or my highest video that I have is the one where she bought me 35 pounds of comic books off of Whatnot, and I unboxed the book there. So go check that out. I'll put a link to it somewhere.
Yeah.
You got to remember which corner to point to. But yeah, it was a lot of fun opening that box of comic books. Izzy sold 3 times.
It's 3 more than me.
You just got to make sure you set the price at where you're willing to let it go for.
Yep.
Because if you start it for $1, it's most likely going to go for $1 unless you have a big viewership.
Yeah.
So.
Speaking truth, I've seen it all the time. My LCS constantly does whatnots. And just last week, I bought a Black Panther #1 from 1998. He put it up for $1. I'm like, I'm going to get the bidding start. I'll throw $1 on it. Anybody? Okay, I got another one for $1. I mean, the book has come down a lot, but it's like $1? All right, that's not $1 book, but I'll take it for $1.
Yeah. So here's an easy question for you, since you haven't been on that long doing comic books on YouTube. What was a specific moment or video where you felt like your channel really took off?
So honestly, Brian, I put a lot of thought into that, and I don't think I've hit that yet on Philobox. And the reason is, you look around at other channels, and like instantly I thought of like Lunch Money Comics and his Hulk 181 video, where he went to a garage sale, he's going through random books, and he sees a Hulk 181. The guy doesn't know what it's worth, and he kiddies him and like, oh, it's a $20 book, and ripped the guy off. But he told the guy he was up front, it's worth thousands of dollars. Right. And that video, from what I understand, is the one that really blew his channel up. I think it has like 150,000 views, or it's a lot. So that really pushed his channel into the comic book land, if you will. And also, it's unfair, but I am going to compare Philobox Comics to TSR Sports, which is a much bigger channel. I try not to, but it's hard not to. I can say...
hold on, but real quick, explain to everybody what TSR Sports is.
Okay. So TSR Sports is a channel I started on April 5th, 2019. It originally was called The Sports Reaction, and everybody kept calling me TSR, so I just eventually changed the name to TSR Sports. And having the word reaction in the channel kind of had a stigma about it on YouTube, that you were just a reaction channel. So TSR Sports is a channel that does live play-by-plays. So I actually consider it like an interactive radio show. I call Spurs games, literally play-by-play. I run a game clock. I run a scoreboard. I talk to the chat. So there's a lot of multitasking, but I have a lot of fun. And because I live in Connecticut, it gives me a place to talk to other Spurs fans in Texas, in Ireland, in Scotland, in Africa, in Japan. There's Spurs fans all over the world. So it's really a community-driven channel where you get to share the passion of a team with fans that share the same love that are all over the place. So the primary thing there is doing the Spurs live, and news videos. I'll do a news video here and there throughout the week, usually like 3 or 4. Then I also cover the Giants and Yankees in just shorts. 1 minute or less, I'll complain about how they suck and blew a game. Because I'm also a musician, which I mentioned to you a little earlier, I also do sports music on that channel, where I'll do a song about, like my last song was a song, it was a Motown song of all things, about we need Victor Wembanyama back. We desperately need him back. And of course he gets injured again. So that's TSR Sports. It's a sports channel primarily driven by the San Antonio Spurs.
So you actually do a live video for every Spurs game?
I'm live 2.5 to 3 hours, 3 to 4 times a week. When they have a back-to-back, which they just had, I was live Friday night and Saturday night. It can get a little exhausting. Thankfully, I have a co-host. My girlfriend is a huge basketball fan. And more importantly, she's a big UConn fan. And the San Antonio Spurs in 2024 drafted Stefan Castle, who played at UConn. So it was like a match made in heaven. It's like, I'm a Spurs fan, you're a UConn fan. Now there's a UConn player on the Spurs. So she is now a Spurs fan as well. And having 2 people call a game is much better than 1, because you have banter, you can play off of each other. I certainly don't mind doing the games alone, but it's much better with a co-host.
Right. No, yeah, I can definitely understand. It's I mean, that's like going back to like a whatnot show is a lot more entertaining if you have somebody there to talk to, because sometimes the chat doesn't actually chat.
Yep.
So when you're just talking to the void and not knowing what to say, it's not the easiest thing to do.
I do try, whenever I'm in a stream, try to chat with the host, because I figure it helps the algorithm. And I know it can be tough when you're by yourself and you're talking, and there's no response.
Yeah. It's like, boy, this room's dead.
Yes.
So you've learned a lot. So, okay, what was your breakout moment with TSR Sports? I mean,
Actually, I really wanted to dig into this because I think there's a few. You have different moments where you feel like you've achieved some kind of success on YouTube. And the first one was actually back in 2016. I had a first channel called Whackbag Films, which was a low or no budget films that I just do with my friends. And
okay.
From you guys, you want to hear a struggle? From 2006 to mid 2016, I had 16 subscribers.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I don't know what I was doing. My thumbnails sucked. I didn't have keywords. It was for fun. I was clueless on YouTube. And then in November of 2016, I did something I had not done before. My friends and I decided to go live from Hooters and do a live reaction to UFC 205's main event, Conor McGregor versus Eddie Alvarez. And that was my first video to like get any type of substantial views. It had like 4,000 views or whatever. I was like, oh my God, this is awesome. So we started doing some more sports live streaming stuff until I eventually did TSR Sports. And there are a few moments for that. The first big one, and this is probably my biggest achievement on YouTube, is that channel got monetized in 1 month.
Oh, wow.
The channel was started right in the midst of the NBA playoffs. And I was the only one at the time, I believe, running a live game clock. So if somebody was watching, they could actually see the clock countdown, whereas a lot of people were using ESPN scoreboard, which isn't a live game clock. It goes down in chunks by 10, 20 or more seconds. So I helped that get me a little bit of recognition in the sports community. So that was a huge moment for me. Like, oh my God, it's taken me, for anybody that's been struggling on YouTube trying to get monetized for a year or 2, for me, it was actually 13 years. We start from 2006 to 2019.
Okay.
The next big one for me on that channel was I had my first video with 1 million views, it wasn't viral. It collected 1 million over a 2 or 2.5 year span, but getting a video with 1 million views also felt like, a big moment on YouTube. I'm like, wow, I actually got, 7 numbers here. This is, I never thought I'd get, really, it's like one of those things, when you're used to having your videos from that prior channel getting 20 views, 10 views, 5 views. It's like when you see that many numbers, I'm like, holy moly. And then the last one is literally happening right now, Brian. The San Antonio Spurs, the past 6 years have not been good.
Okay.
Pretty much when I started the channel, they've been a losing team. As fate would have it, they draft Victor Wembanyama a few years ago. Interest is starting to percolate in the team, and this year is their first winning season since before I started the channel. And I really felt like I hit it with the Spurs content when they played the Oklahoma City Thunder in the NBA Cup in December. We had almost 5,000 people watching live. Not 5,000 views at the end, almost 5,000 live viewers.
Oh, wow.
And that's when I was like, the Spurs are finally a draw on YouTube after 6 losing seasons. Like people are finally and fully invested as a team than they've ever, when they were back winning championships, the fan base is finally like, they believe now. It's been excitement that I haven't experienced ever. And I jokingly say this to folks. They're like, don't you get nervous when that many people are watching? And it might be a bad analogy, but I feel like Hulk Hogan, when he used to say, when there was more and more Hulkamaniacs cheering him on, he would feed off that energy. And I kind of feel the same way when I see the viewer watching count hit 1,000 or 2,000. It's like, it pumps me up. It turns me up to like 11, 12, 13, 14. It gets me amped up. And I'm literally feeding off of their energy in the chat, saying the Go Spurs Go just fly by so fast I can't even read them. So
that's got to be an adrenaline rush.
Yes, it really is, and I absolutely love it, especially when the team wins. I mean, when there's tons of people in the chat and the team wins and has a big win against the juggernaut of the NBA. The Thunder hadn't lost the game, and I think they had won 16 in a row. And here we come in and give them a smack.
Wow. Okay, I got some other questions about that channel. We can get to a little bit later. So how did you find going back to comic books?
Of course.
Since we are a comic book centric show here. How did you find your niche in the comic book community? And I would say, has it evolved over time, but you're still probably in that infancy phase of this channel?
It currently is evolving. At the moment, I was really had a hard time of figuring out what my niche is with this question. I was like, I think my niche, this is going to sound weird, but is just being me. And I don't mean me personally, like I'm like this incredible, YouTuber, but doing like catchphrases, like the what's in the box, even though that is a phrase I took from the movie Seven, people are now saying it to me and being goofy and just turning the personality up to 11. So where I'm talking about comics, but I'm also not just a comic book, presenter. I'm also like, trying to make you laugh at you being you, exactly, Earth 51, sharing that love of comics, but adding something a little different. Even just the palming the comics now is becoming a thing. When people see me grab a comic, you talked about it before the show, like, this is becoming a niche almost. Someone's like, that dude's always palming comics. So, I picked up this book today, and then, I got this one over here. Whee! So it's.
I think that whenever you make your first merch for your channel, it needs to be a caricature of you. Maybe you can get Izzy to help draw it for you, since he is an artist. Get a character of you palming 2 comic books like that and say, fill a box or what's in the box or something. But the caricature of you palming 2 comic books.
Saying what's in the box. I've floated some ideas around. I do actually have a caricature of me on the wall holding up a bunch of boxes I just filled that a local artist did for me. As niches I do want to have moving forward, possibly, Bryant, is I don't, and I could be wrong because I don't follow every comic book creator on YouTube. It's impossible. But I wouldn't mind being maybe like a whatnot guy. It's like, I don't see a lot of people do whatnot unboxings. I see occasional ones. I'm doing one every week. I'm buying a lot of crap on there. I'm not going to lie. I'm hooked right now. So maybe a good place for people to find new sellers. Now, I don't care if it's going to hurt me getting deals. If I can help promote a channel, or a whatnot seller and help them grow, to me, that's a win. That's a huge win. My LCS is a whatnot seller. If I can help promote them, and next thing you know, they're selling books hand over fist for fair market value more, that's a win. Right now I'm getting great deals, but if I can help them grow, perfect. So that maybe, or, I know at one point we're going to talk about which videos do well. The fill-a box things, doing a fill-a box sale where you grab a short box or long box and you fill it up for a certain price. Problem is those sales don't come around all the time, so I'm a little limited on how many videos I can put up on that.
No, they seem to come around a lot more up there for you and Mike than they do for me down here in Florida.
A lot of folks have commented about that with Lunch Money and myself, like, what the heck? You seem like you go to something every week. I'm like, well, I've got my monthly comic show in Plainville, Connecticut. I've got my bi-weekly comic warehouse sale in Meriden, Connecticut. I've got my LCS, and then there's this show, and they're like, what? I guess that's not common everywhere, so I guess I should be very thankful I have so many opportunities in New England to go and look at and buy comics.
Yeah, like between you and say Jim from Bronzeville, who's like at a different show or goes to the Meadowland flea markets every weekend or something. he's able to score a lot of comic books throughout the week, and he's also a Whatnot reseller too. So
Yes, yes, he is.
so have you ever been to one or seen one of his shows?
I don't think I have. So it depends on where he's listing, because I generally only hit up the vintage comic section. So if he's putting it in modern comics, I probably won't see him. I'm always in vintage comics. That's where I'm always moving around.
I think he is more vintage. I mean, he's definitely more bronze, and I mean, he sells bronze, silver, and then some modern, but not modern. Like not what's come out in the last year or so. It's typically older. Monday nights at 10 o'clock your time.
Oh, maybe that's why not. Okay, it's a little late. I generally, a little Whatnot tip, if any, for those of you that are watching, and for you as well. I have found my best deals are usually not at night, because that's when everybody's available.
Oh yeah.
If you're looking for good deals early in the morning, weird work times at like 3:30, where everybody's still working, I found great deals. But when I've gone into rooms at like 9 p.m., like especially on the weekend, if you're hitting a room on a Friday, Saturday, Sunday night, unless it's a new seller and you're looking for a bargain, you're not going to find it. And aren't we all, when we're buying comics, hoping to find that book that we want, that you see everywhere for $20? Like, I just got it for $2. Bang.
Yeah, he's consistent. Monday nights, 9 p.m. Central, 10 p.m. Eastern.
I'll look him up. It's Bronzeville Comics, I'm sure, and Whatnot, correct?
Yep, same thing.
Okay. I know he's got the
logo,
YouTube
everything. So, but it's hard to miss him. All right,
I'll find him. I'll look for him after the stream.
Okay. Well, I think you just answered, or you've definitely hinted at the answer to the next question. But what kind of comic book content performs best on your channel? Is there anything other than the filler box ones that perform really well for you so far, or is it going to be the filler box?
It seems like videos where I find keys cheap, or maybe you're going through a dollar box, and like recently I was going through dollar boxes, and it's a buddy of mine, actually, my buddy Kurt. We'll call him Kurt Comics. He doesn't actually have a store. He has dollar boxes, and occasionally he'll be like, "Hey, I went through these quick, so have fun." And I was going through, actually, I wasn't going through. I was going through his regular books, and I was watching a gentleman to my left going through a long box, and I see him pull out a Defenders 10. That's a classic Hulk versus Thor cover. And I'm looking, I'm like, well, it's not a dollar book. And he grabbed a few more Defenders in there, and he left the box. And I was like, well, shoot, I probably should start looking through these. So I ended up actually going through the same box he was in. And usually your thought process is, if you're going in a box that somebody just went through, you're not going to find something in there.
Yeah.
So I just start going through. I'm like, all right, maybe. And I pulled out a Firestorm 1 from 1978.
Okay.
His first appearance. I was like, okay, dollar book. So I think that type of hunt is what people really like. I think that's what helped Lunch Money Comics. And we're going to bring him up because he's a buddy of mine, and he certainly was an influence on my channel.
We're Lunch Money acolytes.
I don't know if I'll go that far.
That's just a reference to somebody else's video a couple months ago that
you're talking about Sticky Goose. I saw that.
Yes.
I saw that. He's a troll. He's all right. He's just doing his thing. But I think just they're sharing that excitement of, holy crap, you found a book in the wild like this. And all those type of videos, especially when you can do the thumbnail where you have a picture of the pile of books and you kind of have like the, hey, what's in there? Or I can't believe I found this in there. It's been a lot of fun seeing those videos do well. The fill box sales, as we talked about, I think those do pretty good. Flea markets, a little bit of collection buying I've been able to do. This is a benefit and a negative of being in New England is, yes, there's a lot of places to buy comics with shows. Because there's so many shows, there's also a lot of dealers. So trying to get collections on Facebook Marketplace is very difficult, because as soon as they go up, they come off again. I was lucky to find 2, I think, within the first 6 weeks of the channel, and I haven't been able to find any since.
Yeah,
they go up, they come down.
I will say that I do have better luck personally on the marketplace finding stuff. Like I picked up a long box and a short box of all Wolverine off of the marketplace, like the whole volume 2 and some of the limited series, and then all the Old Man Logan, even that homage cover where Wolverine's holding Sabretooth's head. That's the
Tales. That's like issue 53-ish or something. The Tales from the Cryptomage.
Yeah, and a second copy of 88, Wolverine 88, and so all that was in there. And I think I spent like $400 altogether for the entire thing.
Facebook Marketplace. And yeah, here's a weird thing, Brian, is I was actually a Greg's lister until last year.
Okay.
Because I'm not a reseller per se, but I only have so much room in my house, which we talked about before the stream started. So when I get a new title that I want to collect, or if I get Silver Age books or early bronze, that means something's got to go if I have no more room in that short box. So something's got to go. So usually I put up lots of 3 to 4 short boxes on Facebook Marketplace. I'll try to sell them for maybe about $50 a short box, and that's it. I do that once every 2 to 3 months ish.
Okay.
My buddy Kurt, who I mentioned earlier, sometimes will do a hybrid cash and store credit, but that's the only time I really resell. But doing this, where I was going with this, the reason I found Facebook Marketplace is because I had been selling lots like that on Greg's List, and I remember putting a lot up, and it sat for 2 months.
Okay.
Originally started at 240, it sat and it sat. I lowered it to 200, crickets, nothing. And I did a Google search about what's the best place to sell comics in my area, and it said Facebook Marketplace. I'm like, you know what? Maybe I should just bite the bullet and try this Facebook Marketplace thing. It's apparently working for other folks. I put the exact same lot up, back to the original price of $240, and it sold within 24 hours. I was like, well, crap. Guess Greg's List is dead. I'm on Facebook Marketplace now. So I can see the appeal to selling on there, buying like you just said, but finding collections up here it's been so few and far between. I did have my best one, not necessarily quality, but maybe quantity, is somebody put up a collection because they were moving. It was like 9 long boxes. It was mostly 90s stuff, but it was 9 long boxes. And he had a sports card collection. I used to collect sports cards. I was like, okay. And it was a lot of autographed cards, this, that, and the other. I just threw up there for $175. I was like, this has got to be fake, right? So I write him. He's like, yep, it's available. I apparently wrote him first. It was available. I drove out there. It was what it was, and bought it for $175. The crazy thing is, he told me a ton of people kept writing him, will you take less? I was like, 9 long boxes and the sports card collection, that's under $20 a long box. Even if it's bulk, it's still undervalued. And it wasn't. Like 3 of the long boxes were just Spider-Man only.
Hey, Mr. Aiken. Okay. How far are you from Lunch Bunny?
Right. About 45 minutes-ish, depending on traffic.
Okay. Mr. Aiken here would be my Lunch Money.
Oh, okay.
We're very close to each other in geographic region or geography. So what's up, Mr. Aiken?
I went off on a tangent there. I'm sorry, but in the end, the thrill of the hunt is the fun thing. And we went off on Facebook Marketplace a little bit, but I would say Facebook Marketplace and Whatnot have been my best place to buy smaller items. If you're going for a big book or grail, it's going to be probably Heritage or eBay or maybe Comic Link. I have never bought on Comic Link, so I don't know how good or bad they are, but it seems like they're a great place to buy comics. Just hasn't happened yet.
Right. I know that the unboxing videos are really good on what to for comic book or for mail calls, basically. So those are always pretty good because it's always interesting to see what's in them. You just got to figure out whether or not you want to keep in the opening of the box or speed that process up or cut it out.
So I actually have something funny to tell you about that. Because I've been buying a lot on Whatnot, my Whatnot unboxings are now becoming reaction videos for me as well. The reason I say that is I have a short box right now where I have 10 books in the front, and I know what they are. I went to my local comic store where I bought 2 stacks of about 20 books, and I know 2 of them because they're CGC books, and I can see the first book in each pile. I don't remember the rest. So it's literally getting to the point where I'm like, okay, and I bought this book. It's literally becoming a live reaction because I don't know what's in there. And that's actually been funner than what I used to do when I first started doing the Whatnots, where I'd go through the seller's list and I'd mark the books. I'm like, all right, I bought this because this is the first appearance of this character. This is an origin, da-da-da-da. Now I'm just doing it as a surprise. For anybody that's watching, you're like, well, fab. What if you get ripped off? I mean, if they know you're not checking the books, they could just send you anything. Well, first off, it's my LCS I normally do this with, or trusted sellers. But 2, Whatnot has a video receipt for every book you buy. So if something looks off at all, After I look through everything, all right, I remember buying this, this, that, and the other. But if I see something I don't remember buying,
Right.
I can go to the video receipts, check every book I bought, and if something's off, plus I have a live unboxing, there you go. So I have no concerns.
Izzy likes purchasing from Shortbox. I haven't done that yet myself.
Buying at Shortbox, is that an
Yeah, no,
app or a store?
there's a website called Shortbox, and it's another place for buying and selling comics.
No kidding. How long's that been around?
It's been around as long as I've been watching YouTube or comic book YouTube stuff, but it's just shortbox.com. I know that 22 Comics, I don't know if you know who he is, but he's another YouTuber. He does a Monday night show, and he has a podcast also with two other co-hosts called Comically Comics Podcast. Yeah.
So I don't forget.
He sells on Shortbox also.
Let's check it out.
So, oh shoot, I was going to say. Oh, so when you unbox them, or do you speed up the videos, or do you edit because I know sometimes it can be a really tricky to get into a box depending on how much they do the packing.
I pre-cut the boxes now.
Okay.
Because I found out after the first video, I'm like, I can't be cutting these live because sometimes it takes forever. So I pre-cut the main point because they're almost all, are they diamond boxes or not?
Geminis.
Gemini boxes, Gemini mailers. So I'm used to how those are now set up. So I cut the little top, the bottom, a little slit. It's still sealed, but I have to rip it open. But I pre-cut them so I'm not there all day. And then I usually can get in there pretty quick. Good sellers do put blue tape usually around the books and that inner piece of cardboard, but I've gotten quick enough for it. It takes only a few extra seconds. So I leave that in. So it's a genuine unboxing. If there's a box within a box, and this has happened, and I'm like, all right, what's in the box? Another box. That's just when I cut that out. Like, all right, need to speed it up. It's a box within a box. Let's cut some of that crap out.
Yeah. And sometimes you got to remember, like, I know I've made the mistake before where I know I'm going to speed up this part of when I do my videos, but then I'll say something and I'm like, well, crap. Now I'm going to be talking like a mouse. Yeah. Also, one that I haven't done yet, but I've seen a lot of good stuff, especially from like Bronzeville and stuff, is like CGC unboxings. Do you send anything off to CGC yourself yet?
I have never sent a book to be graded in my life.
Okay. I haven't either. So.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I've unboxed a couple CGC books I've gotten from Whatnot and from eBay, but I've never personally sent the book out. I'm in there. I don't know. It worries me looking at a book. It's like, all right, here's my book. I don't know what's going to happen to it. And could it get damaged in shipping? Could CGC drop it? And sure, the books that are encased, there could be a defect there we don't know about. We can only see the front and back, but I don't know if I have it in me to physically mail a book out. And I have books that probably should be pressed and graded. Prime examples, that right there, I have a Hulk 181 that desperately needs a clean press. It's probably a 3.5 now. It has a crease on the bottom right, but it's non-color breaking. It maybe could get up to a 4.5, maybe a 5 if CGC is being generous because their gradings, I like them, but they can be a little inconsistent.
Right.
So maybe it could pull a 5 on a good day, but I'm also not looking to resell it. And it's in a Mylar, so people might say, well, if it's a CGC case, it's more protected. I'm like, is it? A Mylar is archival. Mylar is going to outlive me. I'm not reselling it, so why put the time and money into having that book look pristine when it's just sitting in my collection?
Now, here's one of your subscribers.
Hey, Mike. Mike, actually, you do see in some of my videos. Most recent video, he almost took my knee out with a cart.
Oh, okay.
Just kidding, Mike. Good evening.
Yeah, I know I've seen a lot of Bronzeville's videos where he does the CGC unboxings where he doesn't know the grade and all that. And I think those do get a lot of.
So when people hold up the book and they're like, one of those, they always cover the grade up. And I got
Yeah. I mean, it'd be interesting to see if you could palm a slab.
Challenge extended. Challenge accepted.
All right.
I can.
You know how you were talking about you don't remember what's in your mail when you get it sometimes, or when you make it order. You could be like Mark from Lunch Money, who I think still actually not Lunch Money, but from Legion of Comics, who still has like mail from a year ago that he hasn't opened up.
No, I don't want to do that. So
So
I have a little book of all the books I own, like old school pen and paper or pencil and paper. I don't want my collection to get to the point where I don't know what I own. So I try to get like the stuff that I picked up today. I'm going to shoot it tomorrow after work.
okay.
Because I want to update my list. I don't want to be out there in the wild buying books and buying duplicates of stuff I already have, which has happened a little bit here and there by delaying on boxes. So now I'm trying to speed them up so I don't keep doing that.
So on your list, do you keep an actual pen and paper list, or do you use like CLZ or something like that?
So I have a little paper notebook, which you guys have seen in the videos. It's the green one. It's all my books with the numbers I own written down, not numbers I need, but I like to write down the issues I do own.
Okay.
I have that. I've been lately putting the inventory for Better Books in Price Charter, which does a fair market value off of Heritage and eBay. It's not the best comic site, but it's certainly as a free site, it's very good. And then I've been using, I think it's called My Comic Stash for non-key books or cheaper books where the prices on that are a little off, but for insurance purposes, I need to have an electronic inventory.
Okay. Yeah, I think I use CLZ and then I connect it to Cover Price to help get the values there. So, well, I know since you haven't been doing comic book YouTube for very long, but you have been doing YouTube for quite a while in general. What are some mistakes that you've made early on, or that you made early on that you wish that somebody had warned you about?
So probably the biggest mistake is definitely on TSR Sports, and that is don't stray too far away from what brought people to your channel.
Yes. Okay.
Like
Yeah.
this is Philobox Comics is a comic channel. It's a small, maybe a big channel can get away with this, but as a small channel, if I start doing Magic the Gathering or Pokemon, I think that'd be a mistake.
Right.
I don't play Pokemon, but I too play Magic the Gathering. I have, I don't know, 58 Commander decks or whatever, how many decks I have. That would be a mistake. On TSR Sports, I really dropped the ball in 2020 because I just discovered politics. 2020 was a weird year for everybody. It was an election year. We had the pandemic. It was a crazy year. So when people brought up politics in the live streams I told you about, I started talking to them about it. And that obviously annoyed some viewers. I tried to stay neutral on everything. I was like, I'm just going to be neutral, but this is a sports channel. It shouldn't be politics. So biggest mistake was putting up content that is not why people are there. People are not there for politics. People don't, come to talk about the Spurs to hear about, what's happening in the world. Just like comics, I would not start talking politics or put music. I told you I'm a musician. I put music on the sports channel, but it is sports related music only. So I'm going a little out of the lane, but I'm still staying in the lane. You know what I mean? I'm veering off,
Right.
but I'm still in the lane. If I started doing music on this channel, Philobox, unless it was, singing about the Hulk or how he's angry or I don't know, the Avengers or whatever, just biggest mistake is trying to put new content up because I try not to think about the algorithm, which is the previous question. We'd actually missed question 5. The algorithm.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm on board. I'm on track.
Thanks for keeping me on track there. But
I don't try to think about the algorithm much because he was going to ask about the algorithm and what do I do with it. I try not to think about it anymore. But there is an algorithm, and if you go outside of your lane, it could screw it up. Right. With Philobox Comics, that is probably the best example of me actually really thinking about the algorithm because it was a prior channel that was a mix mash of short movies, comic book videos, and just a bunch of everything. And before that, it was actually a music channel, I believe 3 years prior, and I just deleted the content, shut it down. So now this has been 2 different channels, and there's no way it's going to succeed. And I had watched a video on YouTube about a quick video about algorithms, and he said if you're starting up a new channel, make sure you start fresh and you don't take a channel you've already had and maybe you've shut it down or deleted it, and then you're just restarting that new channel under an old channel's brand. So that can really muck up the algorithm. So I said, all right, Philobox Comics, I want to achieve something with this. I want to do well. I want to grow a community. Start over. And that's the one time I've really thought about the algorithm. What I do, I'm not oblivious to certain things work better on YouTube is catchy titles. And it's really tough, Brian, to find that fine line between a catchy title and people calling it clickbait.
Right.
I hate doing that. You know, you have to, it's really hard to find that right area. And the same thing with a thumbnail. I know I have to put up a thumbnail that makes people go, I want to click on that and see what he's doing, but you don't want to be clickbaity. Because I got beat up on a video. I'm going to share this real quick. Maybe this was a mistake. I don't know. But I went to a flea market and I put on the thumbnail something like, I can't believe these were in here. And then the title was, I found rare comics at a flea market. A couple people said I was clickbaiting. What I had found was 2 variants that were limited to 600 copies. To me, 600 copies is rare. I don't know.
Well, across the United States, yeah.
Across the planet. No, just the whole world. There's 600 copies. That's it.
Okay.
They're one of 600. So I had 2 books I found that were ones of 600s. They were in a pile of comics. And the guy said, he's like, you interested in those? I'm like, yeah, I don't know. It was like 20 books. I didn't know anything about these variants, by the way. And he's like, how about just $10 for the whole stack? And I was like, all right, whatever. I don't know. Fine. $10 for 20 books. Sure. And I looked them up, and one might be like a $15 book. The other one is a What If Spider-Man something variant. I don't even remember what the hell the title is. But it was a 1 of 600. I'm like, I think these are rare. So I'm putting up on the thumbnail. It's actually my most watched video.
Okay.
But there's certainly been people who said, dude, you're an awful, you know, like all those other comic book clickbaiting YouTubers, you're awful. And, you know, this isn't rare. And I was like, well, one, somebody's definition of rare varies. Is a book that's a 1 of 10 rare? Is a book that's a 1 of, 125? You have to order 25 copies to get one rare. What a book that's limited to 600, period. I thought that was rare. I wasn't trying to be clickbaity, but if I had to do it over again, maybe I would have changed the title a little bit or the thumbnail or both, but I didn't know how people are going to react. You try to make the best video you can, best thumbnail, best title, hope people like it. And no matter what you do, there's going to be somebody that doesn't like your video. Or I found this out on TSR Sports a lot, is I will make a video, I'll put the title on there, I'll put the thumbnail, and people don't watch the video. They comment on the thumbnail. Perfect example of this is with the San Antonio Spurs. I did a video called The Perfect Trade.
Okay.
And the whole point of the video was, don't make any trades. There's maybe a little bit beta switch, but I talked about, how people are saying the Spurs should trade for Giannis Antetokounmpo, this player, that player. I went over all the trades that are being talked about, and I said, my perfect trade is don't trade anybody. The team is clicking. There's chemistry. Keep it the way it is. And for 3 minutes, I went on like why this team should stay the way it is, and it shouldn't. That was the whole point of the video. The perfect trade is don't make a move.
Right.
And there were a handful of people like, you're a moron. They shouldn't trade anybody. Hello, Bueller. What? You clearly didn't watch the video because that's what it was about, that we shouldn't. So, I mean, you're going to have that. The more your channel grows, you're going to have people that just comment. Carlos is one of my people from TSR Sports. What's up, Carlos Jeter? ¿Cómo está mi hombre? Go Spurs, go. You're going to have people that are going to, no matter what you do, you can put out the best video in the world. It's not clickbaity, whatever. Somebody's going to be having a bad day, or just you're going to be the target for their trollism. And they're going to put on a comment, and you just don't take it personally. What I actually do now, and as recommended, since we're talking about YouTube, number one, don't respond. That's what they want. So because I have a larger subscriber base on the first channel, I'm like, you know what? I've seen people defend me in the chat. If somebody's coming in trolling, and I know it's not a fun troll, but it's really somebody that's trying to get a reaction, they're being a total jerk, they've never been in the channel before, hide the user from channel. They can keep commenting away. They can keep trolling. They're the only person who can see it. And I feel like that's the ultimate revenge, is you took, I don't know how many minutes to write your little paragraph on why I suck.
Right.
Nobody can see it now. You can keep writing these paragraphs, but only you can see it. So have at it.
I didn't know that. So, yeah.
Yeah, never respond, guys. Never respond.
I haven't had too many trolls, but I did actually have a couple of trolls on that video where my wife bought the comic books for me.
I saw that. Yep.
One said like, "Oh, she should have bought shoes instead." I'm like, I enjoyed what she got me. I mean, I mean, not many people have a spouse that'll buy comic books for them.
Right.
I mean, so I mean, I was ecstatic. I was happy. So
I think that's awesome. Your wife is awesome. I would dare I say your wife and my girlfriend are awesome, because my girlfriend has gone to comic shows with me. And a great example, I'll share a little comic book story if I may, is we went to the Gary Dolgoff warehouse sale where Lunch Money has a bunch of videos on this sale.
I've heard that name before.
So what he did is he's got a huge warehouse, Bryant, and he'll open up the inventory usually 2 or 3 times a year, and the books will be all $3. There'll be a big giant section, all $3. I missed the first one, and the first one was the best sale, but I did go to the second and third one. And I don't know if it was the second or third, but I gave my girlfriend a little list because it gets hectic in there. People are scrambling to find, the keys, because they do leave keys in the boxes. Not huge keys, but decent keys.
Right.
Gave her a little list, and she's like, "Where should I start first?" And I'm like, "I don't know, start here." So she goes to her destination point, finds a few more books, comes back. I'm like, "How'd you do?" And she pulls up not one, not two, but 3 copies of Thundercats #1, 1 newsstand and 2 direct for $3 each.
Nice.
So that was really awesome. I didn't keep all 3. There was another person there that said they always wanted the book. So I did keep 2. I kept a newsstand and a direct so I could have 1 of each. But there was another person that I've seen at comic shows a lot, and I actually bought some stuff from, and he was talking about, "I don't want to pay a lot for this book either." I was like, "Dude, take my 3rd copy. Just, you clearly want one. Here, have one as well."
Yeah, I mean, why do you need 3 Thundercats?
I don't. I do want to follow up on something on the troll thing, though, because you're going to see this. I've seen this on Lunch Money, and I've recently dealt with it on a video. I went to the Brimstone Flea Market for the first time, which is a massive flea market in New England. I believe it's the biggest flea market in the United States. It's huge.
Okay.
And I went to a seller that had all comics $5 each or 3 for $10.
Okay.
I start looking around, and most of it's like 90s X-Force, 90s X-Men Volume 2, the type of stuff that is usually dollar books. I start going through one of these boxes that's labeled X-Men, and I find an X-Men 244. I was like, "Hey, that's the first Jubilee. Maybe there's something good in here." I go a little further, I find an X-Men 266. That's the first Gambit. Now I'm like, all right, I really need to focus on this. The third book I grab out of that box, I actually did not know was a key because my mind got my numbers conflated. I thought Alan Moore's first work on Swamp Thing was in the late 30s. And I thought a key first appearance was around issue 20. So I just randomly grabbed, I'm like, I don't know if I should grab this. All right, I will. I think it's a good book. It was Swamp Thing 37. Unbeknownst to me.
Is that first Constantine?
Yes. We're driving home. I'm like, I said to my girlfriend, "Can you look up Swamp Thing 37? I think it's important for some reason." She's like, "It's like First John Constantine. It's listed for like 200 on this." I'm like, "Okay." So I scored a great book that I honestly didn't know was a big book. So I put the video up, and I'm excited. I'm like, I found this book. It's a book I've always wanted, but I didn't really pay the money for it. Now I just paid $3.33. One person came in. You're an awful person. You ripped this person off. You're garbage, and that's going to happen. Where if you buy comics, dollar comics or 3 for $10s or whatever, people are going to call you awful things, and there is that fine line of what's right and what's wrong. And I've talked to a lot of people about this in dealers. So this is just a little comic collecting. If somebody has something priced, it is not your job to tell them it's worth more, unless it's egregious. I mean, if somebody's got a Hulk 1 and it's sitting out there for $1, it's like, maybe you shouldn't be doing that.
But yeah, it also comes into that whole thing, like know the room, kind of like if there's somebody that's been selling comic books and that they sold comic books. I mean, he's at a flea market and he's selling comic books.
He had a stack of better stuff that they individually priced. So is it my job to take every good key out of his box and be like, "Hey, these are actually all worth more. Here you go. Reprice these. And I'm doing the work for them." So in that case, I think I'm okay. It's shady when somebody comes up to you and says, "I don't know what this is worth," and they hand it to you, and you've got a book for $1,000, and you go $5. And the Lunch Money Comics video I mentioned earlier in the stream, the Hulk 181. If Mike had said this Hulk 181, which he wouldn't have aired, I'm sure if he did this, but he's a good guy and he didn't do it. If he said this is a $20 book and gave the guy $20, you have clearly lied and misled somebody and took advantage of them. The guy wanted $5 a book or 3 for $10. I gave him what he wanted. I can't sit there all day and go through somebody's books and pull them out and say, "These are worth more than what you're asking. Let me just buy these." That doesn't work like that. Yeah. So that's it on trolls. It's going to happen. Yeah. Just go with it.
And based upon that story, or Lunch Money's story, and I watched that video where he talked about it. In that particular situation, if he had given the guy what the guy had actually asked for, it probably would have been the downfall of Lunch Money Comics YouTube, because it would have set a very bad taste for everybody to see that.
Yeah, you want to watch him again. You'd be like, screw this guy. This is the reason I subscribe to his channel. Is one of those reasons, like, oh, he's a good guy, and he actually, was honest with the guy, and because he was honest with the guy, I think they found the book value to be, I don't know, it was like 2,800 or whatever it was, whatever it was. He gave lunch money to the book for half. Yeah, and Izzy, a big thing too is we all have these now. You all have cell phones. You can look up a book very easily. It's like to find out what it is. I mean, I didn't even know what that Swamp Thing book was when I bought it. So what am I supposed to do? I just thought it was a decent book, and I was like, I'll grab it. So yeah, we all have cell phones.
I think the best find I've ever had, I was in an antique store, and there was like a comic book thing in there, and I picked up an Amazing Spider-Man 316 for $5.
First Carnage, first full appearance Carnage.
Like
316. Oh no, wait, that's the Venom cover. It's a classic McFarlane Venom cover. I'm sorry, I'm thinking 316.
Where he's standing over.
Yes.
Yeah, and I got it for $5.
Yeah, and
then I traded it or sold it. And I felt like I was kicking myself for trading it afterwards, because it's like that's not something you can reproduce. That type of, so it's like
I'll
never get rid of my Gambit or Deadpool first appearances, because I picked those up off the rack.
I will share my worst selling experience. This was back in this is when I just moved back to Connecticut in 2017. It might have been 2018. Yeah, probably sometime in late 2018, where I didn't want my comics to take up more than one bedroom.
Okay.
So I kept it under a certain number, and I sold an entire run of Batman 400 to 600 on Greg's List. And this is when Batman 423 was a $5 book. So this is going to hurt. 400 to 600, all near mint. The most I could get for it was 200. You can't get a near mint 423 for 200 now.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, that one hurt. You sell book for this? Yeah.
Yeah, Izzy does some work for Cover Price.
Yeah, so so we went off a bit of a tangent there, but we both enjoy the hobby, obviously, and I knew we would start talking about experiences, which is great. I mean, it's all good.
Is there anything you want to go back and add to about the algorithm, other than the whole? YouTube, the YouTube algorithm it knows what the viewers want to see.
Yep.
So be true to what started your channel.
Yeah, I think that's the big thing, is kind of stay in your lane. If you're going to venture out, you can always ask your people before doing that. Like at the end of a comic video, like, hey, by the way, I've recently gotten to Magic the Gathering. I want to talk about Commander on the channel. Would you be interested in that? And let me know in the comments. And if you're getting feedback of no, oh mamma mia, no, then maybe don't do it. So I try not to think about the algorithm, but I've also made mistakes with previous channels where now I'm just like, I stay in my lane. I do the content that I hope people enjoy, but more importantly, I do content that I enjoy making. Because if you're not enjoying making the content you're making, then people probably aren't going to enjoy watching it.
Right. Yeah, you got to be authentic.
Yeah, be authentic.
I mean, it's probably hard to redo your what's in the box from if you're not being authentic or having fun doing it.
So that's a good question. My Area 51 is here. Does the algorithm push you more once you're monetized? I think YouTube.
I don't know that answer.
I think YouTube does push you more when you get to certain plateaus. Once you become monetized, you get ads, and I think more than likely you're going to push content that they can make revenue off of than content they don't. I don't know that for sure. I'm speculating, but that would make sense. We're making ad revenue here. We're not making any here. Push the monetized channel.
Yeah, I mean, but YouTube can also put an ad wherever they want to. It doesn't matter.
I have watched channels that aren't monetized, and you had him on recently. Randy from Swarm of Comics.
Oh yeah.
A couple months ago, he was at 900 something subscribers. He's now hit 1,000. Congrats to him. Right. And an ad played before his video. I was like, oh, congratulations. I didn't know you could get monetized. He's like, I'm not monetized. I was like, oh, an ad played. So I just assume you're monetized when ads play. But you're right. YouTube can put ads anywhere. And the only difference is you don't get any of the cut. They take 100%.
Yeah. Yeah, we're playing in their sandbox, so they have all the control.
That's a good point. I forgot about that. Yes, Area 51, absolutely. They can put ads on non-monetized channels. I have seen it.
Yeah, like I said, we're in their sandbox, so they control everything.
Absolutely.
So,
We're in the Matrix.
yeah. The question I had about any mistakes. Have you had any issues on either of the channels with copyrighted stuff? Because I mean, the fact that you said your first big video on your TSR Sports was live streaming a UFC fight.
Okay, so I did not show that. It was just
Okay.
so when I do live play-by-play, there's no copyright because it's me on my couch with my girlfriend and a bunch of Spurs plushies and actually there's one of them right here because I can't go live without him. That's Baby Coyote, which Coyote is the Spurs mascot, so he had to join me on the stream. So I do the streams with those guys, and I have a clock. I have there's nothing that can get copyrighted because you do have to be very careful about that because if you're live and you put up copyrighted content, and I've seen this actually happen once. I was going to do a live reaction to Floyd Mayweather and Conor McGregor's press conference. And I had it up on the background. I was sitting in front of my TV. I'm like, I'm blocking part of it, no problem. And I went live, and 10 seconds in, a red thing came up that said, "You are showing copyrighted content. Please stop," or blah, blah. Okay. And I'm done. But as far as actual copyrighted content, I've not hit any issues. But you did remind me of one weird issue since we're talking about growing YouTube that happened that made me very upset, and I didn't understand it.
Okay.
So a prior channel, my first channel, I was doing weird covers of songs.
Okay.
And I did a cover of a song by Dimmu Borgir, which is a black metal band. And I used their album cover in the thumbnail. Now this album cover is a little sketchy because you can kind of see boobs.
Okay.
However, I looked around and a zillion other channels and much bigger channels and channels with that particular album art had hundreds of thousands of views. I'm like, oh, all right. So apparently this is okay per YouTube's, what's the word I'm looking for? YouTube's community guidelines.
Okay.
Other channels are using it. So I guess I'll use it too. I use the album cover. 3 days later, I get a community strike for inappropriate content. Now, I wouldn't have minded that if I was the only person who ever did that, but I literally see channels upon channels and thousands, probably over millions of views combined using the same thumbnail. My little channel at the time, which had, under 20 subscribers, is whacked with a community strike. I'm like, WTF? Why am I getting targeted? So my advice is if you're going to use something questionable and you see other people get away with it, that doesn't mean you can. So if you're questioning it, don't do it. My guy Patriot Comics just put up a video of a collection he bought, and he started going through some books. And next thing you know, there's a giant member with an eyeball, and then some other female button. I was like, whoa! I made around like, yo, you might want to blur this out because you just need one parent or person, whatever, reporting you to YouTube. Boom, there's a strike. So for comic creators, adult comics, do not show them. If you're going to show them, take little white stickers or something and cover up the parts. I actually had to blur a video myself. I was going through a box and I pulled out a book and it had everything white stickered except for something in the middle, and it was a male member. And I was like, oh God. So I blurred it. I can't show that. It's hard to see. I don't even want to take a chance. So if you're going to show adult comics, blur it, cover it up. Don't risk it for the biscuit. It's not worth it.
Izzy had a comment about ads on YouTube. If the video can be like over 8 minutes, even if you're not monetized, they can still show the ads on there. So
I don't know about that. What I do know is if you do a video over 8 minutes, you're going to get more ad revenue. Because you're going to get your opening ad, and you're going to get a ad in the middle. So the longer the video, like when Philobox Comics gets monetized, TSR Sports will probably still make more because it's a bigger channel per month. But I tend to think on a not live stream, but a regular video basis, Philobox Comics might actually pull in more ad revenue because they're significantly longer videos. My video going up Monday is going to be 36 minutes. So it's probably going to have 3 or 4 ad breaks, whereas most of TSR Sports, it's 1 or none in the middle. So I don't know about 8 minutes for the algorithm, but for ad revenue, you will make more ad revenue with longer videos.
And here's another. This would be something interesting. I don't know if you could actually find the answer to this, but your audience on TSR Sports is probably much different than, or a different economic demographic than maybe the Philobox, since you have so many people and stuff like that. Like, because they could show a different ad that could, for a product that could cost a lot more money than what they could show on Philobox.
So I can actually already verify the ad revenue is very different on TSR Sports depending on who's watching, because you do get clicks per minute, and I don't know how it works. I don't know how that the cents turn out or whatever, but I can see my ad revenue from like America, and it's very high. I do have a lot of Filipino viewers, and this is not a knock to Filipino viewers, but the ad revenue is very low. So depending on who's watching where, your ad revenue can definitely go up or down.
Right. Okay. I mean, yeah, I mean, like I said, they know who's watching your stuff and who, so they can target ads per the demographics. So
demographics, it's in Philobox Comics. I mean, I have no idea between the two. I really don't. I probably won't investigate it enough. I'm just happy people are watching. If you should care, I'm like, and with TSR Sports, when people are watching around the world, I think it's great when people are shouting out their country. I'm like, no way. I mean, I don't care if my ad revenue is lower because maybe a country has a less per capita income. Who cares? You're watching. You're a Spurs fan. Go Spurs, go. That's all I care about.
Izzy also said they like comments, good or bad. They shows that somebody's watching. Same with the like button. I know I was doing an interview, or you remember, you know Chris from the Comic Vet.
Yeah.
Almost when I was interviewing him on this live stream, his live stream was the only one that's gotten a downvote. And he says it doesn't matter. It was a vote, or is a thumbs up or a thumbs down. Somebody took the time to actually press the button, so they interacted. So it doesn't matter. And it was like bothering me a whole lot more than it was bothering him. It was like, how could somebody not like? And he just like, it doesn't matter. It's just they took the time to press the button.
So here you go. Here's one for you. My most watched video, and I'll throw it out here. It's a United States Women's National Team video, who I started covering. I'm not covering them anymore. When I started covering them, I didn't realize how politically charged the team is. So I was just covering the team because I like one of their players, and they're U.S. So why not? The cup. What's that?
The soccer team or the basketball team?
The soccer team. The United States Women's National Team soccer team. So I started covering them, and I did a video. Unbeknownst to me, would be a really hot topic. They had lost to a boys team 5-2, I don't know, in 2017 or 18. And my stance on that was, I don't think they were trying. But that was it. At that time, I really hadn't looked into the difference between male and female athletes. I've certainly seen it a lot in the last 5 years, but at that time, I was just making a video defending the women's national team. And I got ripped apart in the comments. That video is the one that has 1.2 million views. It has 12,000 thumbs up, which is great. It also has 6,000 plus thumbs down. So the algorithm was pushing the video a lot because people loved and hated it. And I actually shut the comments off because there were a lot of nasty comments towards women, and as like, I don't need this, there's a lot of chauvinist stuff. I'm like, just, if you don't like the team, fine, but you don't have to sink to, low level stuff. So I shut the comments off, but when comments were on, it was getting driven hard because of comments too, because people were arguing a lot, and I don't want to see that either. And I was like, I'm tired of this. I'm like, I'll leave the video because it's my biggest video, but I don't like what I'm seeing. I'm going to shut comments off. And since I've shut comments off, it is dropped out of the algorithm. It's also an older video from 2020, but I'm like, I'm done. I don't need to see this anymore. Comments are off. And, thumbs up are good, but interaction is, as he said, thumbs down. I saw a music video by some girl band or some girl. It's like one of the most hated videos on YouTube. It's got millions of views, and before they took the thumbs down off as a visible thing for the public, it had like triple the thumbs down than it did thumbs ups. But it had a bajillion views, so whatever. Like, all right, people want to thumbs down my videos. You can't stop that from happening. It used to bother me a little too. I'm like, you know what? One, I guess I sucked enough that you gave it a thumbs down, And two, you're probably never coming back. So at least you watched the video once. Or maybe you will. Maybe like, you know what? This guy's a tool. I'm going to keep watching him. Kind of like how people used to hate Howard Stern. Howard Stern drew a lot of viewers because, like they said in the movie, because they wanted to see what he'd say next. People that hated him tuned in because they wanted to see what he'd say next. I'm like, you know what? If you hate me as a content creator and you're watching every night, that's good too.
Izzy says he has friends that just love the thumb down button.
There are people that do. Area 51 has a good question here, and this is very relevant as a comic book creator. Yeah. What about background music when you're at a comic store? Not a comic store is the issue usually for me. It's at a comic show where a lot of times people will be playing. Just actually the video I did for the Doubletree show at the Cliff Con and Doubletree in Bristol, Connecticut. I'm walking around. I hear Rage Against the Machine. I'm like, uh-oh. So I start talking a little louder, try to boogie on out of that area because, hearing any type of music that I know that get copyrighted, you have two options. Get out of that area and stay away from it. Or when you put up the video, you're going to have to cut it out because you will get hit probably with you're going to get hit with two things. You're going to hit with a copyright strike, which is bad because 3 strikes means you're out and you can't fight copyright strikes as far as I know. Once you get 3, YouTube, you're guilty until proven innocent. They will shut you down immediately, and it's hard to come back out of that without an attorney and some legal help.
I do think they have a new policy now where you can be in probation for like a year.
Oh, really?
But then you got to start the channel all over again. So you lose everything, but you have the ability in a year to ask to start over.
I'm moving on at that point.
Yeah.
The other thing with music is you get copyright claimed. What a copyright claim is let's say I put up a comic book video, and we'll pretend Philobox Comics is monetized, and I put up a video, and immediately gets copyright claimed because a dealer was playing Pantera's Walk in the background. So whatever studio, Warner Brothers or whatever, copyright claims that video because Pantera's music in it. I have 2 options now. I can leave it like that, but all ad revenue is now going to Warner Brothers. Right. Or I can get into YouTube Studio, and that part of the video is either going to be cut out or silent. So to answer your question, it does affect the channel. Don't upload content with copyrighted music unless it's very short or you can't tell what it is. I remember a Typo Negative song playing in the background at a show. It was very soft and hard to tell what it was. So I still made sure I got out of there quick, but I was like, I think I'm okay. And you can always test it. You can upload a video and it'll tell you if there's a claim right there. And if you get it, delete it, re-edit it, re-upload it. Just don't publish it. Be safe on the end.
Area also had comment about the down button, said people hate watching what you're talking about Howard Stern.
My buddy Jim hated the new Hawaii 5-0 when he watched every damn episode. It was 9 seasons? He's like, I'm like, what are you up to tonight? He's like, I'm hate watching Hawaii 5-0. Okay. Have fun.
Going.
Thank you, Carlos. I appreciate that, by the way. I try to do my best.
On the algorithm aspect of the things, and this kind of plays into it, have you ever deleted or unlisted a video that you've had on your channel? And if so, why?
This one hurts. So this is going to be a painful story. I know my girlfriend's watching and she knows the story. So TSR Sports, I had been on and off with New York Giants content since the channel started. I tried live streaming games like I do the Spurs games, but I don't like calling football for 3.5 hours. It's just not me. So I went back and forth on that. And then I had some reaction videos to drafts. Never delete a reaction video to a draft because I deleted mine.
Okay.
I deleted a couple of videos and I was like, nobody's watching these anymore. Nobody cares. Right? Bryant, I kid you not. 2 weeks later, I get a message from a user on Twitter. TSR, you're going viral. What? What are you talking about? So somebody apparently clipped a part of the reaction video I deleted where not so much me, but my friend was going bonkers because the New York Jets drafted Sauce Gardner over a tackle we wanted, which was Evan Neal, who ends up sucking now, and Gardner became one of the best cornerbacks in the NFL until recent. So he's calling the Jets stupid and morons and da-da-da, and I'm all like, yeah, we're getting Evan Neal, who sucks. Somebody clipped that and put it up, and Sauce Gardner, the NFL player, shared that clip.
Oh, wow.
Yes. So his tweet got like millions of views, Bleacher Report writes me and says, "Hey, do you have the original video?" And I just deleted it maybe less than 2 weeks prior.
Oh, wow.
That was maybe the most painful moment I've ever felt as a YouTuber ever, because I feel like that was my big break, but not necessarily a positive one, because we looked like idiots. We really did. But that's the thing with reaction videos for drafts, and I have some out there that haven't been found yet. Thank God, because I have a reaction to Drake May being drafted by the Patriots. I'm like, thank God I didn't want him. He's now playing like a Pro Bowler in New England, so I hope that stays in the lost and found. Just please don't anybody find that. But those things are don't delete content. I learned at that point, unless it's content you're not going to create anymore, where I was doing a mix match of stuff with certain channels. If you're not going to do it, maybe it's okay. But if you're staying in your lane, never delete a comic video, a sports video. I keep all those up now, because you never know, especially reaction videos. And it really deflated me to no ends, Bryant, when I've heard from Bleacher Report and I see the short going viral, millions upon millions of views, and I got, not that it matters, but I got 0 ad revenue, probably 0 views, and 0 subscribers. Because the TSR Sports was cut off with a short that went viral. Nobody knew who it was.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So don't delete videos, guys. If I give you one piece of advice, unless you're changing the channel content completely, leave it up. You never know what's going to get, what's going to get hot. You just don't.
Yeah. I mean, you can always unlist it.
You can unlist it.
You still have it. Set it to private.
So yeah, I can't. I didn't know that question was coming up today, and ironically, it's a good question. And it's been. You asked about mistakes, and I've forgotten that happened. That was my biggest mistake probably ever on YouTube, is deleting a reaction video to a draft. Granted, this is a different type of content, but if you're doing a reaction video to comic news, leave it up, because you don't know. Maybe you were really wrong, or you're really right, and somebody finds it a year from now or 2 years from now, and then boom, you've got a viral video.
Yeah. I mean, you could be talking about Supergirl, and is it going to be a game or a Guardians of the Galaxy type movie, or is it going to be a True Grit type movie? You never know.
I hope it's a good movie.
What?
I hope it's a good movie.
Yeah.
I like Lobo, and his cigar looks stupid in the trailer. It's so fake looking. Otherwise, he looks perfect.
Okay. So you've had a lot of experience with YouTube.
Yes.
So what is your process for planning and producing a video from idea to upload?
So for the comic channel, there's actually not a lot there. Most ideas come from, I'm going to this show Sunday. I'm going to shoot footage at the show, and then I'm going to show off what I got. That's it. Whatnot, I've got 5 Whatnot boxes. I'm going to unbox them. Done. The comic book channel is very loosey-goosey. I try to do 1 or 2 videos a week, but it's usually a show, an LCS. It's just usually me buying stuff. Okay. I do have stuff planned for the future when the channel's monetized. I think doing a comic room tour or comic collection tour would be a cool thing, as a, like, hey, we got monetized. Here's like a little give back. There's other ideas I have where I just don't have the time yet. I might have more time when the NBA season is over. For the sports channel, it's for the live streams. That's just, there's a game Wednesday. Set up a live stream or game Wednesday. I do have to do more planning. Not with the sports channel, because sports is usually so much in the now. There's breaking news. Do a video today because a trade happened. So it's the planning part of YouTube for me is really not really exists anymore. It's just the big plan is, I got a show Saturday. I'm going to film. That's it. Yeah.
Well, you've done it all over time. So now it's become ingrained, or it's part of you. So it's not that you got to prep as much. You just got to click it and do it.
It could be that too, because I have been doing it for so long that it's just, it comes second nature. I don't have to think about it. I just do it.
Right. Okay. And on the reaction videos or the news, like, it's because it's news, you got to get out there and get it done. You can't sit on it, think about it, going, I'm going to have to think about this for a couple more hours, because the longer it goes.
So here's the positive and negative of the Spurs being much bigger now than they were 3 years ago. When there's breaking news now, there's me, ESPN, Fox Sports, CBS Sports, everybody is putting up a video on breaking news, like Victor Wembanyama is going to be out for a month. Boom, everybody's doing a video on it. So I got to try to be, up there as quick as possible. But even that doesn't matter anymore because my views for news like that have definitely gone down from they were, let's say, 3 years ago. And why? Because 3 years ago, it was like me and 2 other people. Nobody cared about the Spurs. ESPN didn't give a crap about the Spurs. Nobody was talking about the Spurs because they were losing franchise. They didn't have a franchise player. There was just a few of us that were covering them. So you had to go to me or like a couple other YouTubers to get any news because that was it. Now it's everywhere. So you have to get on the news right away. And that's the one thing that I don't like about being a sports content creator is if something big happens today, you really need to cover it today. If you cover it 4 days from now, nobody cares anymore.
Right.
They care, but I mean, they've already heard 800 opinions on it. Your opinion now is going to get lost in the shuffle.
Yeah. Area wants to know, do you script anything?
So for the sports channel, I have talking points. I'll have a little notepad and you can see it. I mean, if you guys really watch me, you can tell I'm looking a little bit to my right and I have talking points to remember. Fellowbox Comics is partially scripted. I like to be very transparent with everybody. I will never hide anything or lie. I go over what I spend. I tell everybody what I spent for every book I bought. I don't care. I'm like, I have nothing to hide. So Fellowbox Comics, the intro is scripted. Of course, I've said it enough now where most of it I don't even have to look at the script, but it is scripted. And occasionally you see my eyes go back and forth a little bit. It happens. And Lunch Money, we talked about him a lot. He's got little post-its in the back of his book. You can look. He's like, this book was drawn by, and then he look over here. He's got it on the back. We all have our little things. The intro scripted. I go to the footage, which obviously when I'm shooting footage, that is 100% unscripted. I'm shooting live footage. Whatever happens, happens. When I go over the books for a show, I will have key first appearances just noted so I don't forget them or anything cool. This is the first burning rights in art or anything like that. But I'll just have those little notes. And then my outro is scripted because I don't want to forget something. But again, I've done the outro so similarly for so many videos now that it's become almost secondhand where I don't need it, but I like to have it there. I would recommend to anybody, if you are struggling with intros or outros, it's certainly fine to write a script. Put it somewhere, like my camera's right here. So I have my script right underneath my camera. So I'm trying to look as much at my camera as I am the script. I'm looking, trying to look right at the camera because you don't want to be looking down because then you're clearly reading off of something. But write a little loose script and don't be afraid to rehearse it.
Right.
Put the script up. Hey, this is Rich from Fillbox Comics. Today I went to the Bristol Comic Show at the Doubletree Hill, and it was an amazing show. Just read it once or twice. Because if you're reading for the first time on camera and you flub it and you don't do a reshoot, then that's going to hurt. That's going to hurt you. If people come on your channel and they see that you're fumbling lines left and right, they might be like, man, this guy's a clown. I don't want to watch this guy. So don't be afraid to write a script. Don't be afraid to practice it. And if you mess up, redo it. I can't tell you how many times at Fillbox Comics I've started up a video, started shooting it, and then, flubbed it. I'll just stop and I'll redo it again. Sometimes I'll do it 3, 4, 5 times. And you know what happens when you're on the 4th or 5th time? You remember all that script. You don't even almost have to look at the script anymore because I've said it 4 or 5 times. Now, TSR Sports is a little different. I shoot the videos on my break at work, which means I have a short window. So it's literally one take TSR where I got to get it all in one. Sometimes I'll start over real quick, but I got to get it one shot. Thankfully, I've been doing it long enough where I always can get a video done in less than 15 minutes in one take. And sometimes I'll make a flub, but I will be witty, give myself a little pat, witty or quick-witted, be like, whoop, and I'll make a joke that I messed up and then move right along. It's okay to mess up, but call it out in a fun way. Like, oh, wait, that's not his name. Have fun too. Script it, but have fun. If you make a mistake, it's not the end of the world. And if it's a mistake that's funny, leave it in because then it makes you human. Your audience can relate to you're not a robot.
The other thing to remember is depending on how bad the mistake is, you're probably the only one that knows that it's a mistake.
That's true too.
Because you're the only one that has the script.
Yeah.
So, because I was in theater at one time, so I remember I'm the only one that knows my lines or what's supposed to be said at this point. So, unless there's another theater person in the audience that's done that play before. So nobody's going to know that you really messed up an A versus a D here and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I know back in October or September, October, I was doing a live daily show about comic book news,
Yep.
and I had a script and all that, and I was having to figure out where to put my camera versus my laptop. I was putting the laptop monitor right under the camera so I could try to read it and move it, and self-producing and all that on the fly. It was hard, but I believe I learned a lot about making videos and becoming a lot more comfortable with what I was doing in it. So I learned a lot, and I did like 60 videos in a row. So it was quite an experience. I mean, I did 7 days a week.
Oof.
I mean, 7 days a week for about 2 months. And then I finally, I asked, I was using vidIQ or something like that, talking to them and saying, like,
Yep.
this doesn't help what your channel is. Your channel's not about comic book news. It's about collecting and stuff like that. So this isn't really helping you. I'm like, okay, it's a lot of work and not a lot of reward.
That kind of circles back to our conversation about staying. I talked about staying in your lane. My channel, if you go to Philbox Comics, you're going to see mostly just somebody that loves collecting comics.
Yeah.
I love the artwork. I love the stories. I love accumulating the runs. If I all of a sudden started doing a ton of investment videos, my audience would be like, what's going on here? This is not what we came here for. We're not here for flipping or whatever. You're here because we love comics like you do.
Izzy said loose script or talking points is best,
yes,
in his opinion.
Yes,
also,
absolutely.
if you equipment wise, teleprompters help if you're going to use a script a good bit.
I don't have one of those.
But I mean, but that's extra equipment and that's extra money. But like I know Dave from Still Only 35 Cents. I don't know if you've ever seen one of his.
Does that guy just had his collection stolen?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, from the storage unit.
Storage, yeah.
He has very good videos that are very polished and he has a lot of detail, and he's looking straight at the camera and he's like giving off that information. You're like, wow. So like I interviewed him on this live stream. I said, like, so what are you doing to make that work? He goes, I have a teleprompter. I'm like,
there it is. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I watched Tolarian Community College, which is the biggest Magic the Gathering channel. He's got easily over 1 million subscribers. Definitely uses a teleprompter, which, he admits it. He's got a scripted show. He's got people that help put it together. He's got a staff. But then he has his live shows too, where it's unscripted. But scripted shows, he does use a teleprompter, which you can tell if you look really close, you can tell the eyes are looking at something. But he's been doing it so long and is so good at it, it still comes off like he's naturally speaking. And that's the important thing. You don't want it to come off as reading. You just want it to come off natural.
Carlos has a question. Comics in the 70s, 80s, and 90s have any remake in this era? Or comics are totally different?
I wonder if it means reprints. We definitely have reprints where books that are expensive, like Spider-Man's first appearance, Wolverine's first appearance, you can get a reprint for a couple of dollars. So they definitely do reprints. I think he means reprints. As far as remakes, for better or for worse, and this is one thing I don't like about the comic hobby, is Deadpool's a good example. I'm trying to finish a couple runs of Deadpool because they keep restarting the volume over so many years. It's kind of hard to tell sometimes which one goes to which. Now, thankfully, the last few years, Marvel has the legacy numbering.
Right.
We'll just say like this is issue 397 or 500, etc. So you can tell which volume it is. But there's a couple volumes from really the early 2000s to, I don't know, 2015, 2016, 17, or whenever they started legacy numbering, where some of those titles that kept restarting. I don't know which volume it is unless I actually take the book out, open it up. I'm like, okay, I don't need this one because it's from 2013.
Yeah, I like. Have you Dynamite with Space Ghost? Have you noticed that they're doing seasons
with the comic?
Yeah, like they did.
No, I do not.
They did the first 12 issues, and it was season 1. Then they had an annual, and then they started over again with issue 1, but season 2.
That's weird. Is it at least noted like season 1, issue 1, season 2, issue 1?
I don't know about issue. I didn't see that in season or on the first 12 that it said season 1, but they are calling this issue, one that came out as season 2 instead of volume 2. They're calling it season 2. And then Izzy asked, have you ever mixed up comics and sports?
If I'm asked, I try to keep the sports stream of sports, but if people ask about the comics, and I actually plugged your stream during my last live stream, I was like, hey, while we're in a timeout or halftime, like I'm going to be on, I have comic issues talking about comics, but I'll also be talking about TSR sports. I'd love to see you guys in here. That channel, this is actually just a good example of the lane change, because while I have a large subscriber base over in TSR sports, we don't have that kind of crowd coming over here because they're not interested in comics. They watch me live for Spurs content. And that's, and you're going to see that a lot, where you could have a big YouTuber or bigger YouTuber go on somebody else's channel on a live stream or video, and it doesn't pull in the same results. It's because usually what they're doing over there is not what brought people to their original channel. Like for Lunch Money Comics, people love his comic hunts and finding things at flea markets and finding Batman Adventures number 12 for $0.25 in his library, wherever the heck it was.
Right.
That's not knocked in when he goes on live streams, but you won't see the same results from their actual channel, which again falls into the people watch because of what, that staying in the lane, whatever you did, that's why they watch you. And if you're not doing that somewhere else, they might not be interested. Some will. Area 51 is from TSR Sports. Carl's from TSR Sports. Some folks are like, hey, I want to hear what you have to say on the comic channel. I'm interested, and I appreciate that.
Yeah. Thank you all for being here.
Absolutely.
Izzy said you can use make a teleprompter with your cell phone.
Maybe
try that out. Okay, so you have let's talk about community for a second. How do you engage with your community, and has that changed as you've grown? Or what's the best way to communicate with your let's say your TSR sports community?
So actually, there's both. I actually had the Philobox answer for this first. Is the one way I like engaging the most is meeting people.
Okay.
Seeing people. I just went to my local comic store 2 weeks ago, and somebody walked in, and he was all excited to meet me. He actually called me a celebrity. I'm like, I'm not a celebrity. I'm just whatever. I'm just I'm a regular guy like you. But meeting people, hearing people come up to me at the shows and saying, "What's in the box?" or using some kind of catchphrase from the channel. That's certainly a way to engage and make them feel welcome. Whatever your viewer, just say hi, make them feel welcome. I try to respond to every comment on Philobox Comics. Thank you or just whatever. But I try to respond to every comment because it's a small channel, and I have the time to do that. I also respond to personal messages on Instagram. Some people are like, you can message us on Instagram if you're a sponsor member, all that stuff. I'm like, no, write me. If you want to write me. I'll respond. Unless you're looking for a sponsorship, then I'm just going to ignore you because I don't do sponsors on my sports channel. I refuse to do that. This is my thing. I like to keep it that way. So Philobox, the big engagement really there is meeting people and responding to comments. As far as TSR Sports, it's hard to meet people because a lot of my subscribers are in Texas. I have met people in Texas when I went to a Spurs game. So the engagement there is usually the live stream. I have 2.5 hours to really talk to people. I can't read every comment. And unfortunately now, because of the size of the channel, I do read every comment, but I can't respond to every comment. It's impossible when I put up a video, and if it's a big breaking news video, there's 200 comments in an hour. I don't have the time to sit there and write everybody back. I wish I did. I don't anymore. And I can only imagine the folks that have 100,000 subscribers, 500,000 subscribers, over 1 million. You might be in the point until you get where you can't even read every comment. You want to, but you can't. But I still do read every comment. I like and heart every comment. And I tell people, if I hearted the comment, I'm telling you, I read it. Because sometimes people complain, why did you heart this comment? They were being a jerk. I wanted to let them know I read it.
So how close are you to your silver play button on TSR Sports?
Jeez. A mile away, miles and miles. It's just under 31,000.
Okay.
So yeah, not even close. Now the channel is growing faster than it has in many years with the success of the team. And when they make the playoffs, and if they win a championship the next year or two, it could happen. I've seen a couple YouTubers get the silver play button that have covered the Warriors or the Lakers, which are the two most popular teams in the NBA. Yet the Spurs can get up to that point as one of the most popular teams. then it can happen. And that's the good thing or bad thing being a sports content creator. No matter what I do, no matter how hard I try, no matter how good I am, I can only grow as much as good as the team is. If the team is losing, then people aren't interested. I.e., 2 years ago, the team had an 18-game losing streak, was probably my most miserable time as a YouTuber because I was there cheering on the team, but they lost 18 games in a row. So I would have sometimes under 100 people watching because nobody wants to watch your team lose 18 games in a row. Area 51, it's 100,000 subscribers.
Yeah. So have you ever interviewed any of the players? Or
I would love to. I don't even know how. Honestly, I don't think I'm big enough as a YouTuber to do that. I don't know if that's me being too humble. I feel like I would not even want to try to reach out to anybody until I got to 100,000.
Well, all they can do is say no. I mean,
yeah, I should reach out.
I mean, because like I'm just saying, like, just reach out and ask. I mean,
whereas they can say is no. You're right.
Because like I know like Mark from Legion of Comics, he's interviewed like Jeff Johns and other me on his YouTube channel, and he only has like maybe 5,000-6,000 subscribers.
Oh,
and he's interviewed comic book creators multiple times, and all he did, I mean, they reach out, he reaches out, and so you never know. Just ask.
That's actually really good advice. Because one of my subscribers, Five Lug Racing, is a NASCAR fan, and he's probably had double-digit pit crew members come on his show. He hasn't had, like a Dale Earnhardt Jr. come on the show, but he's had a lot of people that are part of the pit crew come on his show and talk for an hour. So you're right. I should be asking. I never have. That's on me.
Here's an idea. Why don't you here's a starting idea for you. Instead of going for a player, go for one of the commentators of the Spurs.
I should, because I met Sean Elliott a few years ago, and he seems really nice. He took photos with people after the game. He signed autographs. So or a retired player. But might be a good place to start.
Yeah, I mean, because then they could probably get you the foot in the door to go to the next person.
You're right. Don't start off with Victor Wembanyama.
So remember me when you become big.
Okay. I will remember.
What does he say here?
Comic creators mostly like doing interviews. Sports stars may be harder. Yeah, it might be a lot harder.
I mean, definitely, it may be harder, but like I said, all they can do is say no.
Exactly.
And then you just move on. Somebody's eventually going to say yes.
Yes.
So, all right. What is there any particular tools, gear, or apps that you use that made the biggest difference in your growth?
Okay, so I'm going to go. I did list this out, so I do have a script here for this because I wanted to share everything that I've been using. First one that I've used the most is OBS. You've probably heard of it. It's open broadcast software. I do all my live streams with it. I record all my videos with it. It's a free software. It's pretty easy to use. I know there's Streamlabs, which is a internet-based version of OBS. I've never used it because I'm just like, you know what? I know how to use OBS. I'm going to stick with it. If you're going to do footage of going through comic books, a camera harness is a must. Unfortunately, I can't reach mine, but it's a little circle that goes around your neck, and it's got a little loop here, and you literally just put your camera on it, and then you can shoot all the footage of going through comic books. So if you're going to do comic video, that's a must. Nothing drives me crazier, and I've done it a little myself, when you're filming with one hand, and you're one-handing everything, which means you're usually bending the books when you're putting them back in, because you're not pushing them in correctly. You're not putting space between the books. You're just pushing it in. $20 on Amazon for a harness. As far as apps,
Carlos, yes, I have a channel. I have comic issues.
You're watching it, Carlos. This is Brian's channel. We're watching. You're watching. This is Philbox Comics. This is I Have Comic Issues.
Yeah, and just so you know, Carlos, I will be. I'll just ask Rich right now. After this process is, because it takes a while for the video to process, I'll send you a collaboration link. So then anybody that watches it that's not subscribed to you could subscribe to you from watching this interview.
Yes, absolutely. I did out Rob's Fat Stack of Comics. I have the collab thing, so absolutely yes, I will accept that when it's ready.
Okay.
As far as other apps, editing for me used to be with something called Hit Film Express.
Okay.
And Hit Film Express got discontinued, which I wasn't aware of because I had my little bit older computer, and I have the one we're on right now. And I was going to download HitFilm, and it was gone. I was like, well, shoot, I need to find something else. And Kden Live, KDEN Live, has been a blessing for me. I'm not sponsored by it. It's a free software. The editing time has gone up, or down, should I say, exponentially, where a 30-minute video on HitFilm would take 30 minutes to render. Today, I rendered a 36-minute video in 8 minutes. So, I mean, that's one of the big things that can take up time is editing and rendering. So, Kden Live's been a good one for me.
Is KADEN?
KDEN. KDEN Live. Pronounced, I assume, Kden Live.
Okay.
I mean, this was that. So Kden Live has been very good for me, and it uses some of the things that HitFilm use. It has a slight learning curve, but anytime I've been stuck, I could just Google how to blah, 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 and Kden Live, and there was a YouTube video or text. It's obviously something out there on how to do it. So Kden Live's been a real big help. My thumbnails, TSR Sports and Philobox Comics, I used Be Funky. Just the word B-E, and then the word funky. I do all my thumbnails in Be Funky, also free. I have used ChatGTP for suggestions for titles or descriptions. I will change it a little bit to make my own, but I'm like, you know what? I don't really know what to put for this. I found an expensive comic book in a $1 box. ChatGTP, give me something. It spews something out, and I'll use some of it. Sometimes I use all of it. Some people may call it cheating. Like, listen, it's just a description in the video that probably 99% of the people aren't reading anyway. I mean, I don't read most descriptions. I really don't. But supposedly it helps the algorithm, and it's good to have something there over nothing.
Right.
Photoscissors.com I use to make transparent PNGs, because a lot of my videos on the sports channel, or the live streams especially, I have pictures of the players. I'll have like the Spurs versus the Clippers, so I'll have Victor versus Kawhi Leonard. I need a transparent PNG, so I use Photoscissors for that. I have a Logitech webcam that I'm using right now, a Blue Snowball mic to my left. I do have two, I guess call them stage lights or umbrella lights, whatever you want to call them, not on me right now. They can hurt my eyes a little bit, especially if they're on my eyes for a couple hours. So tonight I was like, I'm sorry. I'm just using a regular light bulb over my head. I don't need the two lights blinding me in the face. And that's actually it. It's not a lot of equipment, but when you start thinking about it, it's like, and my phone. I'm just using camera to film footage in the wild. It really adds up how much different things you use when you really start to think about it. So that's everything. If you need, feel free to rewind and listen to that again if you're just starting out on YouTube, or if you can use any of these. I've had good luck with them. Not sponsored, not endorsed by them. They're all free apps, and they've helped me a lot on both channels.
I know, like, I've used ChatGPT to help with the description, title, and what I do is I know a lot of YouTube experts will tell you to come up with your title and your thumbnail before you make your video.
Yeah.
That, for me, that doesn't work. I don't know about for you.
It varies. So, well, the thing is, like with Philobox Comics, if I'm filming at a show, then I already know what my content's going to be. The
Right.
thumbnail, where I mess up, and I need to get better at this, is getting a thumbnail one at the show. I got a great thumbnail for tomorrow's video where I'm holding a box and I'm hitting a thumbs up, and unbeknownst to me, a dealer I buy from right behind me is doing one of these too. He's photobombing the video. I was like, perfect. But taking pictures at shows or sales or whatever, I need to get better at that. That's still a place I struggle, because I'm not thinking as a content creator. I'm thinking more as a purchaser. So that's a big one I could work on, is taking those pictures. And I actually forgot the questions. I went off on a tangent.
Thank you, Carlos. I know, like, I use the
we're ChatGPT and making the thumbnails first.
well,
Rarely do I make thumbnails or titles first. Usually it's the content first, and then the thumbnail and the title come out from what the video is going to be about.
Well, here's the way that I do it: is I'll take the video, or I make my video, then I'll take it into. I've used either Clipchamp, which is Microsoft's free video editor that comes on the Windows computers, or CapCut, and I throw the video in there, and just say do the auto cut, or it makes the transcription, and so I'll get the transcription of the entire video. And then I'll take that into ChatGPT and say,
okay,
give me from reading this transcript, as a YouTube expert in SEO or a YouTube strategist and SEO expert, what's the best title and description for this video?
And the interesting, guys, is ChatGTP. It will ask you, do you want me to make this more funny, serious, clickbaity? So I mean, it'll give you options for the title. You can kind of tailor it. And admittedly, I usually say clicky first just to see what it comes up with, and then I'll try to dial it down unless it's perfect. Sometimes it gives me a title, I'm like, you know what, that hits. And then other times it gives me titles I don't like, and I just go with my own. You got to play it by ear. It's going to be a case-by-case scenario if that's going to work for you or not.
Yeah. Izzy's asking, are there any local shows you plan on going to? He's in the New York area,
So I have not been to. I went to New York once for New York Comic Con a couple of years ago, and I absolutely hated it. Just because, one thing whenever going to a comic show is you have to factor in travel and cost of the ticket, and with the costs to get there and the ticket, I was already over $100 in the hole. And being such a huge con, there weren't really deals to be found. The tables there were expensive, so dealers they're just not giving deals. So as far as New York, probably nothing. As far as the Northeast, as far as a big show, I might go to Little Giant, New Hampshire. That is the comic-only show. That's one that I went to a couple times and might try it out again. Mike?
All right. Yeah, and I'll even use ChatGPT to say, give me some thumbnail ideas too. So, and then I'll take that. Go ahead.
I have done that for music since I've been using. So I'm gonna give you a little insight here. I'm a musician, but I discovered AI music about 6 months ago. Suno's actually the app, SUNO.
Yeah.
And I can play the guitar, play the bass, I can play the drums, but I don't have the time anymore to play 2 guitar parts, a bass, a drum, and do vocals. And with Suno, I found that I can have the AI create the music, and I'll, a lot of the lyrics are mine, or partial lyrics. Sometimes it helps out with the lyrics, but I always make sure the lead vocals are me. So I've been using that, and it's not as simple as just give me a song, because I want it to be as perfect as it possibly can make it. So I'll have a version of the song, I'll have to make a second version of the song, then I'll make a third version of the song, and then I'll download what they call stems, which is a guitar track, a bass track. Those are called stems, a drum track, and then I'll take the best out of each, and then I'll mix, mash, and move it around. And essentially, I'm like playing the role of lead singer and producer. But I just kind of look at it as I'm transparent with it, and it's almost like having a band. Instead of me playing everything, now I have a band. It just happens to be a computer band, and I've liked the results, and it's helped me put out 6 songs in 3 months, whereas before I was doing a song every 6 months because it took a while. And it's been faster, and most important thing is I'm having fun with it, and I'm letting people know. I got to click that box. Was AI involved? I'm like, yes, it was. I make sure I put it in there. Music created in Audacity, Reaper, and or Suno.
Okay. And are you creating a music YouTube channel too, or is it putting those on SoundCloud or something?
No, just for fun. Okay. Everything I do is for fun. The sports channel is monetized because I do like Google's ad revenue. I mean, I don't care about taking money from Google. If the Spurs are winning big games, super chats do come in pretty regularly. I certainly appreciate that when people do that. They don't have to do that. But I think, it's a token of, hey, you're spending 2.5 hours or 3 hours with us. Thank you for doing that. And sometimes too, if there's too many chats in there and I can't read them, they might be like, I want you to read this. Here's $2. Read the darn thing.
Izzy, I don't know if you could answer this one for Carlos. I've never been to Comic Con. I've been to a local con here in my area, and hopefully I can go to Heroes Con this coming summer. But I don't know about Comic Con. It probably would be worth it to go in Puerto Rico, because you'd never know how long they're going to do it for. I mean, so I would go if you get the chance.
Yeah.
And then Izzy has some other shows up there.
Depending on where it is in Jersey. So Patriot Comics is a fellow YouTuber. I don't know if you know Patriot Comics. He put up on his Instagram that he's doing some kind of comic show outdoors with another dealer. I was like, oh, depending on New Jersey, maybe I'll go to that, where it is. And I was hoping it would be northern New Jersey, which is only a couple hours away from me. I would check it out. I put it in Google Maps, the town he's going to be in. It's about a 5.5 hour drive. And I was like, nope, that's not happening. I would love to go. 11 hours of travel for a comic show. That's not me.
Well, it's like people ask me if I'm going to go to MegaCon, which is in Orlando, and just because I'm in Florida doesn't mean that it's close.
No.
I'm in the Panhandle, which is over by Alabama and Louisiana, Mississippi and Louisiana. So it's like to get down there, it's like 9-10 hours.
That you're not going.
Yeah, so it's quite a trip. So is there any? That's pretty much all the tools and gear that you would use.
Yeah, that's a lot.
You just shoot from your Logitech.
So you got Logitech's right there, 1080p. It's 6 years old. It's going on 7. Still works, but obviously my lighting's not perfect right now. But the lights make me look pale and there's shadows. So fidgeting with lighting is annoying because I just started switching to my stage lighting
in the Northeast. So
what's that?
It is winter in the Northeast, so I don't know when the last time you got a tan.
Well, yeah, there's that too. But lighting is tough too because I just started using stage lighting in here for the Philobox videos, and when I hold up the comic, it gets a little dark in the background. The comic is nice and bright, so I'm gonna have to see how people react to that. Maybe I can move them somewhere else, but I'm also limited on room in here. So, as always, tinker around with things, tinker around with settings. If you have Windows 11, be careful. I found out Windows 11 likes to put enhancements on things. A good example is my microphone when I'm live was cutting out.
Okay.
When I got this computer, if me and my girlfriend got loud during a big moment in a game, it would just clip. Whereas before it would distort and be loud, but the audio was still there. It turns out there's a Windows 11 setting with enhancements, and one of those enhancements apparently is if it reached a decibel level that was distorted, cut the mic. I don't want you to cut the mic. Stop. Right. So I shut that all off, and now there's been no issues with audio cutting out. Northern Jersey's. We'll see. Keep an eye on it. Well, maybe Much Money Comics can make a trip.
Yeah, or get you and Mike and Randy from Swarmer Comics, and just carpool.
We are all New England. I've never met Randy in person, but we are. Yeah, he's in Massachusetts, right? Randy? Yeah. So yeah, we're all in the same area. And Randy's a metal guy. I'm a metal guy.
Yeah. So y'all probably have a lot of fun talking to each other.
We would.
Might be an interesting live stream. Y'all should record that. This is just a question that's not necessarily on the list, but on the TSR Sports, is it going to retire you from your full-time job anytime soon?
Absolutely not. I have a state job, which means a pension when I retire. So, nope. People ask a lot, and I've said for me to even consider that, I'd have to have at least 500,000 subscribers.
Okay.
And I'm nowhere near that.
Well, no. About another 20 years, you might be there.
I'd also be very old. I'll just be retired naturally. I'll be 68.
Yeah, but you'll still be watching the Spurs, probably.
I'll be watching the Spurs. This was actually asked recently, when would I hang them up? And I mentioned Victor Wembanyama's name a couple times. That's their franchise player. When he retires, if the team has to go into another rebuild, which, they're starting over for another 3, 4, 5, or 6 years, I don't think I'd want to go through that again. I just went through it for 6 years. That's probably when I'd say, you know what, I'm still going to watch the team. But, it's been a good, I'm going to assume he plays for another 12 years. I'll be 60 years old. Like, it's been a good 18 years on YouTube. If YouTube's even still around then, it's time for me to hang him up. If Wemby's retiring, so am I.
Yeah. Well, then you always have comic books.
I would still do the comic books. Absolutely. Yeah. No doubt.
It's a lot of fun. So, so last question I got for you. Is there any advice that you would give to someone that is starting a comic book YouTube channel today?
Most important
thing. How you just started not that long ago?
Oh.
It should be pretty fresh.
It should be fresh. Most important thing is do something you'll enjoy. I had a lot of options as a comic book content creator. I could do an investment type thing, flipping or a CGC type thing. And that's not who I am. I'm a buy comic books and buy a lot of them. So that's what I'm doing. So do something that you enjoy. And I think if you do something you truly enjoy, the subscriber count and view count won't matter. It'll just come naturally. It's nice to have. Don't get me wrong. I like it when videos do well. But if you like what you're doing, then, like I mentioned Whack Bag Films a little earlier in the channel or during the stream, that channel had 16 subscribers for 10 years. And I didn't care. I mean, I did care. I wanted it to do well. But in the end, I was like, you know what? Me and my friends are making these terrible movies and these terrible shorts. I'm just doing it for fun. And that's why I don't do sponsorships on TSR Sports. I want to be transparent. There's nothing wrong with them. But I want to keep the channel as it started. The channel started for a place to talk about the teams I love. And I feel like if I turn it into a business, I might lose that, that it might change to something I don't want it to be. So I always want to stay just who I am, stay who you are, be true to yourself. Unless you're playing a character. If you're intentionally going to be playing a character like a goofball, fine, whatever, but just make sure you enjoy it and do it for the right reasons. And if you do it for the right reasons and enjoy it, then you'll be happy with whatever the results are, whether you have 10 subscribers, 1,000 subscribers, or 1 million. I've enjoyed my 6.5 years on TSR Sports. Philobox Comics is not monetized. It doesn't get anywhere near the views TSR Sports does, but I enjoy it just as much because I enjoy what I'm doing. Most important thing, be yourself and find something that you enjoy. What's up? There's a TSR Sports subscriber, Stingray X Factor. Thank you. I have to give him a shout out real quick, Bryant, because YouTube has this weird thing in YouTube Studio where it shows people that have commented the most on your videos.
Yeah.
And like number 2 through 2 and down were like all like 1,000, 900, 800. And Stinger X Factor, my man, was like leading the way with like 10,000. He watches every video and comments on every video. So I truly appreciate that.
In Whackback Films or Whackbag.
Whackbag Films was my independent film company from 2003 to 2017. A lot of good memories, but it's also the past. It's a lot has changed in my life.
Oh.
So you remember I just said making characters?
Yeah.
So early on in TSR Sports, Ricky Lombardo and Ron Jambo were characters. It's Ron Jambo, of course, is John Rambo, just mishmashed a little bit. But Ricky Lombardo was an abrasive New York type of guy that I actually swore on the channel with him, like, New York effing Giants suck. I don't know what's up with this BS. I would just like do this character that was kind of like a mix of an angry Giants fan and Andrew Dice Clay. And then Ron Jambo was a sarcastic know-it-all where I'd wear like a blonde wig and a suit, and I'd just be like, LeBron James is still flopping because he's a piece of crap. I just like kind of like that, but I got away from that because it was just a little weird. Okay. So I used to stream a lot in 2019 and 20. I would stream the Spurs, the Yankees, the Giants, Premier League, United States Women's National Team, the UFC, even did the WWE at the start, and it was just too much. I mentioned I got monetized in a month. You don't realize the way I was grinding. So I didn't share this story. I'll share it real quick right now. One of the things that really helped me get monetized as TSR Sports is it was a Friday night. It was the second night of the NFL draft. And all the biggest channels were covering the NFL draft. I was like, you know what? I'm going to cover the Clippers and the Warriors game. The Warriors had a massive following with Steph Curry, etc. They were a championship caliber team. So I was streaming that night, and I had my best crowd ever. I think the video got like 15,000 or 18,000 views when it's all said and done. But during the stream, people kept asking, are you going to stream every Warriors game? And I was like, you know what? I'm going to stream every Warriors game for the rest of the playoffs. And I did. But I also streamed other games. So there were nights where I was doing a double header where I'd stream a game from 8 to 10:30, 10:30 to 11. And I was grinding the crap out of YouTube for a month. I honestly will never do that again. It was fun growing like I did.
Yeah.
But I was really stuck to YouTube for a month. I was single at the time. I had just gotten out of a bad relationship a few months earlier. So I was like, I'm not dating anyway, so I'll just grind on YouTube. But it was a lot of work, and I will never, ever do that again. The Spurs are my team. It's all I'm pretty much going to call from now on. I've tried calling other teams, and I just don't enjoy it. And that circles back to what I just said about advice as a comic book channel. Do what you're going to enjoy. Don't do what's popular in the comic book zeitgeist right now. Do what you're going to enjoy. Yeah, you might see investment videos are hot, but if you don't like doing investment stuff, you could get burned out. I've been burned out a couple times in the last 20 years on YouTube. Stick with what you love, and it'll be rewarding no matter what happens with the channel.
Yeah, and I could see where Spurs fans aren't going to come to watch Warrior games or
no. Yeah, I've occasionally tried different teams, and a few people would ask, why are you covering this? But overall, the Spurs fans weren't interested because they're Spurs fans. Just like comic book fans, if I start throwing up my Magic the Gathering decks up, then probably nobody will watch them because that's not what they're here for. Stinger X Factor is a huge Ricky Lombardo, Ron Jambo fan, and I truly appreciate that. Oh, Area 51 has a question for you.
For me, the question is, what do you love most about hearing content creators' origin stories? I love learning how the sauce is made, how things come about being created in the process. So that's why that's one of the reasons why I even created this particular live stream, was because everybody does the live streams about what I got for New Comic Book Day or stuff like that. It's the same, or it's a comic book hangout where there's so many people talking you can't get a word across. I don't have slabs, so I can't do only slabs or something like that.
Do you not have any graded books, Brian?
I have about 7.
Okay, yeah, you need at least 25.
Yeah. I also work on Saturdays, so it doesn't really work out that well. So I really like this about learning how the people that have come before me have done it, or so I can try to do it myself. Because a previous job that I had, we had the term R&D, but it's not research and development. Oh. It's rip off and duplicate.
Rip off and duplicate?
Yeah. And it was actually, I learned that when I was a professional Boy Scout. So rip off and duplicate. If it works for one nonprofit, you can take the same thing and figure out how to make it work for you.
So interesting you said that, because I've mentioned Lunch Money Comics was a big influence for me, and he was at the start in regards to filming, going through comics. But since over time, I've kind of gravitated into my own niche, where I talked about this earlier. My catchphrase is just, being myself and turning up to 11 and doing the whatnot thing. The Lunch Money influence was there to get me started, but now I really feel like Fill a Box is kind of becoming its own thing. All right, so I want to talk about that real quick. I've harped on being yourself a lot tonight. I really try not to swear on TSR Sports. However, I also say be yourself. And the New York Giants had just blown the game against the Broncos. It was like the biggest choke job, I don't know, that they've ever had. They were up 28 to, I don't know. They were up by like 20 points with 5 minutes left, and they found a way to lose. So I shot at ending the game, and then just a couple F-bombs may have slipped out. This is the worst effing team in football. I can't, but it was me being me.
Right.
I just being genuine. I was so angry the team lost and the way they lost. When I'm live on the Spurs, I try so hard not to swear. But sometimes something happened. You're like, you mother effer. It's just like, oh, sorry. It just comes out.
Well, now YouTube has lightened up their cursing.
They have a lot. So if you guys don't know, it used to be really strict. I think if you swore in like the first 30 seconds, you might be able to have the video monetized, and they've kind of lightened up off of that. It can't be excessive. You can't sit there and drop 10 F-bombs in the first 5 seconds. That's probably still going to hit you.
Yeah.
But they've definitely lightened up, because, let's face it, everybody swears once in a while. Yes, I tried a video game channel at 1.2. It was not me. It was not me. I still game, just not on a stream.
Yeah. And here's Dave from Australia. Hello, Dave. Thank you for being here.
Dave, I watched your video about the unfortunate event. Hopefully things are, I don't know if there's been a follow-up on that. I've been really busy, but hopefully everything works out with that, because that hurt to see that. Could relate. It hasn't happened to me, but I know how I would feel if I saw that happen.
Thank you for liking the name of the show, Comic Channel Origins. Yeah, I also got really lucky when I found that, or came up with the name for this channel. I Have Comic Issues.
That's a great name, by the way.
I just was like, let me try. Oh, it's available. I'm taking it.
Well, let me ask you this before we wrap up, Brian, since the question is coming my way. Have you reached out to somebody like Comic Tom to come on the channel?
Actually, I have.
Okay.
And he actually did respond. So I just got to follow up again and try to set it back up.
All right. Because I was just thinking, you told me to reach out to like a Spurs player. I'm like, you know what? You get a bigger YouTuber on here, somebody with thousands and thousands. He's one of the biggest ones on YouTube that I know of. Maybe,
Well, and I had Lunch Money on here. And at the time, Lunch Money was at 22,000 subscribers. So that's my biggest live stream or interview that I've had, because I collabed with them. It's gotten a couple hundred hours of watch time, and it's done really well for me on that particular one.
It's a great video. I loved it too, because I was mentioned in it. So I was like, what am I doing in there?
Yeah. So Yeah, no, I've had a lot of fun doing this so far, and
Good.
it is a lot easier doing live stream than it is trying to come up with content at times.
Yeah.
Because you're doing all the heavy lifting here. I'm just asking you a couple questions.
Fair enough.
So,
Nice words from Carlos, by the way. That's a good way to end it right there. Perfect.
all right, and a couple more. Oh, talking about all your hobbies.
Yeah, I have too many hobbies. It's a problem. I really do. I have too many hobbies.
Another news: why in the world Netflix got rid of the Green Arrow series?
I don't know what's going on there.
Uh,
Did they carry Arrow from the WB and they don't, or CW
I
and they
guess
don't
so.
anymore?
Yeah, I mean, they probably did have the rights to the WB. Well,
CW, right? I get confused.
CW,
It's
which
CW now, yeah.
they're soon going to have all of the WB stuff. So, yeah, I don't know. They think everybody's watched it, and they'll let it go, put it on the shelf for a little bit, and then bring it back later on.
Or it could be a licensing thing where you only have it for so long, and then
yeah,
like I've seen shows jump from different streaming platforms. It's on one, and then it goes to another one.
Oh, thank you, Carlos. Thank you, Stingray.
Thank you.
Yeah, you've done a lot, Rich. UFC or was it WWE?
Believe me, I've actually talked to my girlfriend about this. I'm like, I don't think he knows what he's getting into because you look at Philbox Comics and it's like you just say, oh, you're doing well, but I've had 13 years of little to no, or well 10 years, but if monetization is considered like a goal on YouTube, it took me 13 years. That's a long time.
Yeah,
but I didn't mind because again, it was for fun.
So the advice for a new channel is just get started and be true to yourself?
Well, the first thing really is getting that first video up because you're probably gonna be nervous. It's your first video. Just use a script if you have to, and it's just you made a good point with the R&D. If you see not research and develop, rip off and duplicate. If you see a channel that you enjoy and you're like, I want to do a channel like that, don't copy it exactly because you don't want people to say you're just copying at so and so, but see what works for them and try to make it your own. I mean, I'm a musician. I'm sure a lot of the riffs I write have been used somewhere, but then you put them in a certain order, you change the timing, now it's your own. So just that's the other thing too is just, and you can also reach out. I mean, people write to me on Instagram all the time. I'll respond as soon as I can. It's have fun. Yeah, just have fun. That's really it. Be yourself, have fun. And I know it can be scary getting out there. And even when I started Philbox Comics, I put my first video up. I was like, I don't know what this is going to do. We'll see what happens. And just, whatever happens, happens.
All right. Yeah, Stingray likes your music also.
Yeah, the sports music is oh gee. Okay, so he's a big subscriber. The Couch Contingent. So you saw it. This is Yodi. This is the Spurs mascot. We also have an Incredible Hulk pillow that a friend of mine bought that wears a Spurs plushie. You probably know who Grogu is. He's wearing a Spurs jersey and a headband, so we've got him all spurred up. We also have a plethora of other characters that join the stream, and they all have we have a baby Groot that if something happens in the game, I use him to reenact plays because I'm calling play-by-play, but I can't show the game. So if it's like, what happened? I'll be like, well, Wemby had the ball and then he fell like this. I actually used the plushies to reenact basketball plays. All right, so I quit in 2021. I actually forgot to mention this. I forgot about this, Carlos. I got burned out in 2021, and I want to say in May I quit and actually renamed the channel Deepfake Sports. I was trying to do just deepfakes with sports for a little bit. I had Eli Manning playing the Terminator, United States national team member Kristen Press playing Wonder Woman. I found a deepfake thing, and I just started kind of messing around. And I did that for a few months and finally just got out of the burned out thing and then restarted the channel. I deleted almost all the content before fall of 2021, except for a handful of videos, because I mentioned earlier, politics got into a lot of videos, which I think also caused me to kind of step away for a bit. Things just started getting really political on the channel, and I didn't like that. and I restarted the channel in fall of 21, and things have been sailing smooth since. And I did check out a little in the Spurs season in 22-23 when the team was god-awful and getting blown out by 30 points a night. I was still watching, but I was like, you know what? I'm going to take a little break here from live streaming, and then came back strong the first year Victor Wembanyama's rookie year, and ever since then I've been doing about at least 80 games a year. Last year I called every game, every summer league game, every preseason game, and every regular season game. I think I streamed like 95 games.
So are you gonna call all the World Cup games?
I don't do women's soccer anymore at all.
Okay.
Because you can't do a video or have a live stream of women's soccer and trolls start coming in about equal pay or this, that. And I'm like, no, I don't want to talk about that. I just want to talk about the game, and it's just all over the place. I stepped away. There was too much, or women, or to be derogatory comments towards women, and I don't want that.
No, just saying you got the World Cup coming up for the men, and
nope. I don't remember any of the soccer terminology. I knew all like the terminology. I learned it all for calling soccer match or football. I got crucified also for calling it soccer at times. I'm like, it's soccer in America. What do you want me to do? If I say football, there's a sport here called football. Yeah. I've retired from calling it.
It would keep you busy for about 2 months too.
I like having the summer off now, because the Spurs season runs from October to generally April. If they make the playoffs, maybe it runs into May. If they go far enough in the playoffs, it runs into June. You've got the NBA draft around there. Then you've got Summer League in July. Really, my only true time off from the NBA is August and September. And I like to have a little time off.
All right.
Yeah, we've been streaming. This has got to be one of your longest streams on here, huh?
Yeah.
Sorry, I talk a lot.
No problem. It's been a lot of fun. But before we go, what do you have coming up on Philobox?
All right, so Philobox, tomorrow I have a haul from the the CliffCon at Doubletree Hotel in Bristol. CliffCon's our local comic show that's at the last Sunday of every month. But this is their big year-end show where they rent out a hotel, and it's a fantastic show. It's the one show Lunch Money Comics sets up at. He sets up once a year.
Okay.
I spent the most I've spent at a comic show in recent memory. I spent definitely over $300 at this show, so I got a ton of great stuff. Wednesday will be a Whatnot unboxing, and then lather, rinse, repeat. The following week will be a Philobox sale I went to, probably another Whatnot video, and that's generally the channel. It's the hunt. It's finding comics, sharing that passion of finding books in the wild with you guys. And I love it when I see you guys at a show, or you tell me you found something at the same thing, or when I see you guys in Whatnot sales now. Ironically enough, I was at my LCS today, and I met somebody. He's like, he must have heard the channel name. He's like, Philobox Comics. I'm like, yeah. He's like, oh, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, wait a minute. We were bidding against each other on him. You won, you son of a biscuit. So, it's really cool to meet people. And yeah, come on the channel. Just give me the same thing it's been since it started. Finding comics and sharing the love of comics.
Cool. All right. What I got coming up, I'm going to do what every other YouTuber is doing right now in the comic book community. I'm going to record a video talking about what I got in 2020, or if I got my Grail books for 2025, and what my goals are going to be for 2026. So I got to get on the bandwagon, do what everybody else is doing in that regard. And then next Sunday, I am going to be interviewing DJ Links from on Comic Channel Origins. He's part of the Comics Curing Cancer crew. So I will be interviewing DJ next Sunday night at 6 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. Eastern. I don't know all the other time zones to say. Those are the two that matter for him and I. So that's what I have coming up on my channel for the next foreseeable future. And then I got to try to figure out some other guests in the future after that. So that's all from me. And that's all from, I believe that's all from Rich. And I don't know what I'm doing with all the different screens at the moment, so please pardon that. But like I said, my name's Bryant. This is Comic Channel Origins. Thank you for being here on I Have Comic Issues, and I hope that all of your issues are comics also. All right. Have a good night, everybody.